around Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with the U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
It had been some time since we'd had any real trouble. Anything more than throwing a few juiced-up cowboys in jail to sober up for a few hours. And I liked it peaceful for a change. And I hoped it would stay that way. Well, that morning I'd gone to take a few catfish out of the Arkansas. When I got back to the office, I found a note from Chester saying he's at the Alafraganza having a beer. Hello, John.
Over here, Mr. Dillon. Any luck, sir?
Oh, about a dozen, Chester. We'll have them for supper.
Oh, that'll be fine. Oh, I've been telling Mr. Carter here about you, Mr. Dillon.
Mr. Carter?
Robert P. Carter. How do you do, Marshal?
Hello, how are you?
Buy you a drink?
Well, thank you. Yes, I believe I will. I think I'll have a beer.
Bartender, a beer.
Yes, Mr. Carter came in on the stage from Denver last Saturday.
Oh, you live in Denver, Mr. Carter?
Oh, heavens, no. New York, Marshal. I've only been west a few months, investing money in gold mines and cattle and the like.
Mr. Carter's very rich.
Oh.
Well, Chester, I will be if Mother Nature holds out.
His girl is coming in on the stage today, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, is that so?
My fiancée, Marshal.
He met her in Denver, but she couldn't get ready in time to come here when he did.
Ah, I see.
I had to come ahead on business. Couldn't wait. We'll take the Santa Fe to St. Louis from here.
They're going to be married in St. Louis, Mr. Dillon.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. But is the stage always this late?
He's worried, Mr. Dillon, with his girl on the stage and all.
It'll be along, Mr. Carter.
You talking about the stage?
Oh, hello, Shiloh.
Shiloh says he's been sitting there by himself all morning, Mr. Dillon.
Since last night, Chester.
You know something about the stage, Shiloh?
Only that it's carrying $50,000 in gold out of Leadville.
So?
But maybe that's why it's late.
What do you mean, man?
Well, if somebody wanted that gold, they'd have to stop the stage long enough to get it unloaded, wouldn't they?
Bandits. He means bandits.
Now, hold it, Mr. Carter. You're already bleeding and nobody's shot you yet.
What?
Nothing. Just take it easy. The stage will get here all right. It's off on a little late.
But this man says it might have been held up. Why, there may have been a shooting.
Well, now, he's just daydreaming, that's all.
Wait a minute. Listen.
Huh?
Well, there it is now.
Oh. See, Mr. Carter, there was nothing to worry about. It got here all right.
Yes.
Marshal! Hey, Marshal, come here.
What is it, Jim?
Got held up, Marshal.
What?
Lost 50,000 in gold.
Where'd this happen?
About 20 miles back near Cottonwood Draw, but
Anybody shot?
another shot fired. He tricked it. But Marshal...
Where's Jane? Driver! Where's the girl who was on this stage? What's happened to her?
That's what I started to tell you, Marshal. There's a tree across the road. We got down to move it. This rider got the drop on us. He's all alone.
Never mind all that. Where's the girl?
He took the gold, took the girl, too.
What?
He took Jane? You mean to tell me you let him take Jane?
Well, now, mister, there wasn't much choice. He held a shotgun on us, and they're gone before we could do a thing.
Oh, but this is impossible.
Now, take it easy, Mr. Carter. We'll find him.
You'll find him. You were out fishing when it happened. What kind of law is there around here anyway?
Easy, Mr. Carter.
I took one of the team after him, Marshal, but I couldn't get near him. He had an extra saddle horse with him. Put her on that.
I see.
But I don't think he planned on kidnapping that girl. Way it was, he just looked at her and told her to come along.
Did you recognize him, Jim?
No, his horses are both sorrels.
By heaven, Marshal, you'd better get her back here at once, or I'll take this up with Washington. I'll see you disgraced.
Shut up, Carter. Chester, go get our horses and a couple of rifles. I'll get a few more details from Jim here.
Well, don't you want a posse, Mr.
No, there'd be too much shooting around that girl. Now, hurry, will you?
Yes, sir. I'll hurry, Mr. Dillon.
Mark my words. You'd better have Jane back here by nightfall, Marshal.
You
or else-
care to ride along, Mr. Carter?
No. No, I'm not equipped for that sort of thing. I'll take care of matters at this end.
Yeah. All right, now, Jim, now tell me first exactly what happened.
Well, we just come down into the draw about 100 yards from the creek.
The blood-red sun was drooping over the edge of the prairie when Chester and I reached Cottonwood Draw. We rode hard until night fell, and we had to stop and wait for daylight. But with morning, we drew a heavy rain that washed out every track. We rode on anyway. For the next 3 days, we scouted a big piece of that country. But it was hopeless. Finally, we headed back to Dodge, empty-handed. Bartender, bring me a bottle, will you?
Sure, Matt. Where is she, Marshal? Is she all right?
Carter, I'm sorry.
What? You mean you didn't find them?
Rain washed out their trail first morning. We never picked it up again. They could be anywhere.
You came back without her.
We did what we could, Carter. Now we'll just have to wait for word of some kind. You'll be seen sooner or later.
Wait. Well, I won't wait. This will cost you your job, Marshal. I promise you that.
Look, Carter, if it'd make you feel better, why don't you ride out yourself?
It isn't my job to keep the law around here, Marshal. It's yours.
Yeah.
Say, Marshal.
Yeah, what is it, Shiloh?
Big Kate wanted to see you when you got back. Asked me to tell you.
Big Kate? All right, thank you.
Come in. Oh. No luck, eh, Matt?
How'd you know, Kate?
I can tell by looking at you.
Yeah, it's thousands and thousands of miles, that prairie. It'd been just luck if we'd found them.
Nobody's blaming you, Matt.
No? I think Carter is. And I suppose it's hard on him. His fiancée and all that.
Carter's no good, Matt.
Well, I never liked him, but I suppose that doesn't matter.
And I'll tell you why he's no good.
Huh? You know something, Kate?
Carter's been drunk a lot while you were out. He was bragging to one of the girls last night.
Bragging? What, about what?
Not much, to my way of thinking.
Well, go on.
Well, to make it short, seems Jane's father got into a big deal with Carter up in Denver.
Yeah?
Carter got him tied up good and then threatened to ruin him.
Well, so what happened?
He didn't ruin him. He took Jane instead.
Oh. Well, maybe she likes him.
You don't know much about women, do you, Matt? You think a boughten bride is likely to be in love with the man?
So that's what I have to bring her back to.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
What can I do, Kate? Just have to wait and see what turns up. I waited a week. Carter was drunk the whole time, telling everybody how he was going to fix me good. I'm not doing much about it, except stay out of my way. And things were fairly quiet. Chester and I spent most of our time in the office.
Well, he sure fooled me, Mr. Dillon.
Now, Carter?
Yes, sir. He seemed like such a nice fella. And so rich.
He's rich, all right.
But poor in spirit.
You've been going to church again, Chester.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon, last Sunday.
Oh, last Sunday. Didn't it rain last Sunday?
Oh, I like church, Mr. Dillon. But I sure do hate to get all dressed up.
You the marshal?
Yeah, I am.
You've been looking for a man and a woman.
You know anything, mister?
My name's Chad Brown. Just rode in from Satana.
Yeah?
There was a man and a woman about 80 miles back on the trail.
What color horses were they on?
Well, as soon as they saw me, they rode off, so I didn't get very close. But both horses were the same color. I guess maybe sore.
Yeah. Are you willing to ride back with me, Mr. Brown?
I don't know, Marshal. I've got an awful thirst.
That woman's out there against her will.
I'll go.
I'll get our horses.
No, Chester. Be better if you wait here this time. We'll be back in a few days. With luck. Let's go, Mr. Brown.
Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
Chad Brown and I covered the 80 miles in a day and a half. The Outlaws' trail headed south for a few miles and then turned northeast, back in the general direction of Dodge. It was hot and still. On the horizon, there were occasional flashes of heat lightning. And then in the distance, we saw the long, low cloud of yellow dust that spelled cattle. The Texas herd trailing north. The kidnappers' tracks led straight into it, and an hour later, we pulled up not far from the swing of the herd. A line of longhorns stretched for several miles across our trail. We watched them, looking for a lag to ride through. All of a sudden, a rider came hallooing down on us.
Hold up! Hold up there! Hold!
You ain't aiming to cross that herd, are you?
Have you seen anything of a man and a woman around here, mister?
Was they mounted?
Yeah, a couple of sorrels.
It don't matter. I ain't seen nothing but cattle and cowboys for 6 weeks. Besides, these cattle are plenty uneasy. They've been dry since yesterday morning. And that heat lightning ain't soothing to them.
This herd's crossed the trail of an outlaw and a kidnapped woman, mister.
That's so. Well, you just have to wait. You can ride around a draw back there, but you can't cut through this herd, mister.
Look, I'm a U.S. Marshal out of Dodge, and I haven't got any time to waste. You think we can...
Well, I sure appreciate your problem, Marshal, but I can't help you. I'm trail boss of this outfit, and I got 3,000 head of cattle here worth maybe $20 a head at Dodge. They're too nervy now, and I sure can't chance your touching them off by riding through there.
I guess he's right, Marshal. It'd be pretty risky from the look of them. They're moving too fast now.
Yeah, I know. Just that I hate to lose the time.
You got more time than I got cattle, Marshal.
Well, I don't know about that. But I won't tempt a stampede, mister. We'll ride around the drag. We'll see you in Dodge.
The Elephant still running?
Yeah, it is. Mostly on Texas money.
Adios.
We rode down along the herd and back up the other side, about a 4-mile detour. But we picked up the trail again and followed it till dark. Next morning, we found the outlaw still headed straight for Dodge, and all we could figure was that he must be new to the country and just plain lost. Naturally, he'd want to avoid asking questions of anybody. By noon, we were in sight of town, and during the last hour, neither Brown nor I said a word. Finally, we rode up Front Street and got down at the jail.
Mr. Dillon?
We got him, Mr. Dillon. They rode right in here early this morning.
Gave himself up, huh?
Yes, sir. I got the man locked up in back, and the money is over at the bank.
Oh, good. How's the girl, Chester?
Oh, she's fine. A little tired, but fine.
Yeah. Well, what's his story? Who is he?
He calls himself Scott Cooley, but he won't say anything more at all, Mr. Dillon. I just gave up on him. I thought I'd better wait for you.
All right. I'll talk to him first, and then I want to see the girl. Where is she?
I didn't like it, Mr. Dillon, but I didn't see what I could rightly do about it.
What do you mean? What happened?
Well, she sure didn't want to go with him, but that Mr. Carter came here and just the same as dragged her off. She went finally, but I sure don't like it.
Well, they didn't leave Dodge, did they?
Oh, no, sir. There's no train till tomorrow. They're at the hotel.
Oh, all right. I'll go over there later, Chester. Yeah, so you're Scott Cooley, huh? You're new around here, aren't you?
Well, anyways, I never saw you before, Marshal.
Well, I've tried hard enough to meet up with you, Cooley. You're in trouble, you know, bad trouble.
Marshal, you got anything to say, just say it right out.
I got nothing to say. I'm just curious why you rode into Dodge, that's all.
What do you care? I'm here. You got the money back and
what?
Oh, leave me alone, Marshal. Just let me alone.
You gotta talk sometime.
Now listen, Marshal. I'm ready to serve my time. That's why I gave myself up. But talk, no. I don't have to talk. Not for you. Not for anybody else.
Mm-hmm. All right, Cooley, have it your way.
Marshal.
Yeah?
Marshal, you going to see Jane?
Yeah? Why?
What are you going to see her about?
Find out what happened?
Yeah. Marshal, I don't suppose you'd let me out of here just long enough to kill Carter.
Now, you mean the girl told you about it?
I wouldn't care if I hang for it. It'd be worth it to kill him.
Mm-hmm. Tell me something. What makes you think what you did's any better?
Why? You wouldn't understand, Marshal. But you do what you can for her, will you?
Anything else you want to tell me?
No, that's all.
Who is it?
Matt Dillon.
What do you want?
Open the door, Carter. I want to talk to the girl.
Some other time, Marshal.
You want me to kick the door open?
You're asking for trouble, Carter. How do you do, miss? I'm Marshal Dillon.
How do you do, Marshal?
I know you've been through a lot, miss, but I have to get the whole story from you so as I can file the proper charges against this outlaw, Scott Cooley.
You want to use me to put him in prison? That it?
Well, he's committed 2 crimes, robbery and kidnapping. We'll want him up for both.
Well, doesn't the fact that he gave himself up and returned the money help at all?
I'm afraid I don't gather your drift.
Then let it go at that, Marshal. We're leaving Dodge on the next train. So Jane won't be here to testify anyway.
Oh? Is that what you have in mind, Jane?
Oh, no. I mean, I don't know. Oh, please.
She's upset enough. Marshal, leave her alone.
If I want anything out of you, Carter, I'll knock it out. Now shut up.
You can't talk to me like that.
Wait. Marshal, I'll tell you all about it, but first...
Yeah?
Well, not in front of him. Make him go out, and then I'll tell you.
All right, Carter. Outside.
Don't you order me around. This is my room, and...
I'll throw you. If I open the door and find you around, I'll throw you all the way downstairs. Now get it!
All right, now. Jane, you can talk.
Can I trust you, Marshal? Really trust you?
Well, that's up to you. But I'll tell you this, I know about Carter. About you and Carter, that is.
Then you know how I hate him.
Yeah? But right now I'm curious about this kidnapping. What happened? Why did Cooley give himself up?
Because we decided we couldn't live being hunted down the rest of our lives.
Oh. So you were in on it with him, huh?
No, Marshal. The first time I ever saw Scott Cooley was when he held up the stage.
I'd like to believe that.
Very simple, Marshal. I love Scott Cooley.
What?
I love him.
Oh, now look, Jane, girls like you just don't go around falling in love with outlaws.
Don't they, Marshal?
No, they don't.
I did.
Then either you're crazy or you're lying to me. And if you weren't a woman, I'd throw you in jail right along with him.
I'm a woman, Marshal, but I've no objection to going to jail with Scott.
Oh, then you admit you're his accomplice.
No. I suppose it's hard for you to understand, Marshal.
It is.
Well, I'll try to make it simple. You see, Scott doesn't know why he took me with him when he held up the stage. He's never done anything like that before. It just seemed perfectly natural to him. He saw something he wanted and he took it. That's all.
I'm afraid the court will look at it somewhat differently.
Well, I suppose he'll go to prison for the holdup, but not for kidnapping.
Why not?
Because I'll testify that I went with him of my own free will.
I almost wish you two hadn't ridden back to Dodge.
Marshal.
Yeah.
You said you know about Bob Carter and me.
Yeah.
Well, Scott's been wild and he's done wrong, but he's never done anything really evil.
Well, maybe you're better off with Cooley. If he straightens out.
You know I am. Don't you, Marshal?
It's no business of mine. I'm a peace officer, not a matchmaker. My job's to keep Cooley under arrest and get him up for trial, and that's all. Now, what you do is your own business. You can testify any way you like. I can't stop that.
Oh, please. Marshal, help me. There's no one else who can.
Yeah, who is it?
It's Carter. Open this door.
Huh. Well, gentlemen.
There are 4 of us here, Marshal. We figure you've talked to Jane long enough.
Yeah, I think I have, Mr. Carter.
You're leaving.
Yeah, we're leaving. Are you ready, Jane?
Oh, thank you, Marshal. Yes, I'm ready.
Jane isn't going with you.
I've just put her under arrest.
Under arrest?
I arrest anybody I think needs arresting, Mr. Carter, and I'm not in the habit of explaining why.
There's a law about that,
You're
Marshal.
in Dodge, Mr. Carter. Come along, Jane.
You can't do this, Dillon. We won't stand for it.
Ah, you're a fool, Carter. I know these 3 bums you got with you, and they don't want to draw on me any more than you do. You fed them some liquor and promised them more. For that, they'll do anything but face me in a gunfight. Am I right, boys? Huh? Well, I take it I am. All right, now get out of my way. You go first, Jane.
You stay here, Jane.
Take your hands off her, Mr. Just step over him, Jane.
Mr. Dillon, I don't like to say anything.
Well, then don't, Chester.
But I can't help it, Mr. Dillon. This is the first time you've ever jailed a woman, and I just don't like it.
Good.
What?
I don't like it either, Chester.
What's this all about, Mr. Dillon?
Chester, Jane and Cooley are in love.
My...
Don't look so dewy-eyed about it. Cooley's got to stand trial yet.
I want no part of this, Marshal.
Now what, Shiloh?
I never did like that Carter.
Well, what's he up to?
Oh, sir, he's drunk and he's buying liquor for everyone. He's making a lot of talk. There's about 20 men with him now.
Where?
Texas Trail. Nobody likes it about this girl. Looks like they'll come over here and try to bust her out of jail.
Chester.
Yes, sir?
Those horses still out back.
Yes, sir. I was going to put them away later.
No, leave them. Now, will you get over to the Texas Trail and stall those men for a while? Huh?
All right, Mr. Dillon. Come on, Shiloh.
Not me. I'm going to bed.
I got 2 drunk last night. That's the worst hit I...
Cooley?
Hmm?
Come on out.
What is this,
Just
Marshal?
hurry it up, will you? Let's go, Jane.
Oh, no. Stay where you are, Jane. I don't
You'll do
like
what I
this.
tell you, Cooley.
It's all right, Scott. We can trust him.
Yeah, but I don't know what he's got.
Scott.
Well, all right, Jane, if you say so.
All right, now out back. Here, that way. Now, come on, let's move. All right, you take the gray horse, Jane. He's gentle enough. But hurry, will you? Come here. Come on, boy.
Where are we going, Marshal?
We're going to Hayes City. Cooley's going to stand trial there.
Yeah,
They got the money back, Scott. They can't do much to you.
I know. But there's that kidnapping, too.
I won't testify. That's all.
Jane, you're going to have to testify. You'll be in contempt of court if you refuse.
Then I'll lie. Anyway, I did go of my own free will. After a while, anyway.
That's perjury. But you don't have to do that either. There's an easier way.
How?
Well, before I deposit Cooley in the Hayes City jail, we might just make a little stop.
What do you mean, Marshal? Stop where?
We're going to stop at the preacher's. You know, a married woman can't testify against her husband.
Scott. Scott.
Come on, honey, let's ride.
Gunsmoke, transcribed under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was especially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in tonight's cast were John Stevenson, Larry Dobkin, and Patricia Walter, with Mary Lansing, Herb Ellis, Jonathan Hole, Jim Nusser, and Frank Gerstle. Harley Bear is Chester. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Tomorrow, a new feature is added to CBS Radio's On a Sunday Afternoon program when Eddie Gallagher introduces the Main Street Music Hall with handsome Bob Carroll and pretty Eugenie Baird as your singing stars. On a Sunday Afternoon is heard on most of these same CBS radio stations. This is Roy Rowan speaking. And remember, daytime is a gay time with Arthur Godfrey on the CBS Radio Network. And in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with the U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
fellas, you listen to me. You gotta get welcome to Dodge City proper like. Hey, you there, mister. I said you.
You addressing me, sir?
I reckon I am. You a preacher?
Not exactly.
You're dressed like a preacher.
If you'll excuse me.
Back up, fancy pants. If you ain't no preacher, I figure on making you dance some for the folks.
You think you can hoorah me?
Dude, I said dance. Dance or the next shot will take off one of your toes.
I don't think I'd like that.
Doc, no. All right, Thorne, put up the gun.
Marshal, you got a wild and woolly town here.
Marshal, you move aside. I'm gonna make this grinning dude kick up his heels for us.
I'd say that might be quite a trick, Thorne. Unless he's changed a lot since I last met him. Have you, Doc?
Not for the good, Matt.
I was afraid.
You pasty-faced tenderfoot. I said for
Shut
you
up, Thorne. He's drunk, Doc.
He's dead. You just don't know it yet.
I'll take it good if you'd meet me later at my office.
All right, Matt. For you.
Well, that's sure a lot of talk. Now I'm going to shoot that dude's boot heels.
Fire one shot and I'll pistol whip you, Thorne.
What's that? You're kind of forgetting who's holding a gun, ain't you? Oh!
I wasn't forgetting.
Oh, my wrist. You broke my wrist.
I doubt it. Now let's go to jail.
Oh, you can't put me in jail. I'm Thorne Finley.
Move.
Oh, you wait till I tell Big Jack about this, and I will, too.
Do that. He might be grateful to me for saving your neck. You pulled some fool stunts, Thorne, but you've never been closer to dying than just a minute ago.
You mean from that fancy pants? Oh, I could handle 6 like him.
That makes you a lot of man. I can name a dozen pretty good gun hands who can't handle one of him.
What?
That's Doc Holliday.
There you are.
Salute, Matt.
Salute, Doc. That sounds worse, Doc.
Yeah, I got orders to go to Arizona. Air's dry there, better for my lungs.
You going?
Thought I might. Wyatt invited me to visit him. He and Virgil and Morgan are the law down there. Some little mining town called Tombstone.
Well, it sounds peaceful anyway.
If it isn't, it will be by the time Wyatt Earp gets through. He's the peacemakingest man I ever met outside of you. Matt, who was the tallerhead down at the depot, anyway?
Oh, Thorne? He's just a spoiled kid.
Kid? Couldn't be much younger than you.
Sure, but Thorne never grew up. His father has coddled him and protected him and gotten him out of scrapes ever since he was a pup. He's never had to be a man. Not with Big Jack wet nursing him.
Big Jack. Big Jack Finley.
Oh, you know him?
I've heard of him.
Well, that figures. He owns about half of Kansas. Star in a box runs more cows than he can count.
Swings a lot of weight in Dodge?
Too much.
Mr. Dillon? Mr. Dillon, somebody said that Doc Holliday'd come into town today and he... Oh, excuse me.
It's all right, Chester. Why don't you shake hands with him?
Don't mind if I shake with my left hand. It's a kind of habit.
Yeah, I know. Mr. Dillon has the same habit.
He would. How about dinner tonight, Matt?
Sure. How long will you be in Dodge?
Not long. Just till I finish a chore.
Oh? That, chore have anything to do with Big Jack Finley?
Might say so. Gonna kill him.
All right, Dillon. Turn him loose.
You, forgot to close the door, Mr. Finley.
You're going to turn my boy loose? Or I'm going to have to do it for you.
You got a writ of habeas corpus?
Writ? Thorne didn't commit no crime.
The charges are drunken, disorderly, disturbing the peace, and attempted assault with a deadly weapon.
I was.
You still need a writ.
But, man, Judd Nathan does what I say, and you know it. Don't you think I can get a writ?
I'm sure you can and will. You always do.
Then what's the point, Dillon? It's just a lot of useless red tape.
It's a law. And close the door on the way out. All right, Thorne.
Didn't I tell you Big Jack would get me out? When are you going to learn you can't put
Save the speeches.
The law can't touch a Finley. You ought to get smart, Marshal.
Like you?
Sure, like me. Hi, Big Jack.
You okay, son?
Fine.
Anything else, Mr. Finley?
Why, yes. My boy here is a little boisterous sometimes, I know. High-spirited, you understand?
Uh-huh. So?
So, I want to put a stop to all this nonsense of yours, arresting him every time he kicks up his heels a bit.
Well, go on.
Well, I'm offering you a job. Let's say, protecting my interests. $200 a month.
And no work, naturally.
I see we understand each other perfectly. No work, of course.
All I have to do is just shut my eyes whenever Junior here breaks the law, huh?
I said we understand each other. There's no need to elaborate on it, Dillon.
There's a big need. Only how do I explain to a person like you that some men don't wear a price tag?
Huh?
How do I explain how I feel about a so-called respectable citizen making the law his private doormat?
Hey, you're nothing but the stupid gunman I've always thought you were. I understand you took the part of Doc Holliday against my son.
I kept Thorne from committing suicide, yeah.
You sided with a notorious killer against an important citizen of this community. Now I'm telling you, Dillon, get rid of Doc Holliday. I don't want him in Dodge tomorrow.
Doc may be a gunfighter, but he's clear with the law, Finley, and a better man than your son will ever be.
What? Why,
That hurts, doesn't it?
You... I'm serving notice, Marshal. You run that killer out of Dodge City, or I'll do it myself.
Big Jack Finley, cattleman and self-made king of southern Kansas. No better or worse than most of the men carving empires out of the West, until love for his son blinded him to the fact that Thorne Finley had gone bad. And from here on, I knew the war was on between Big Jack and me.
So Big Jack Finley's going to run me out of town, huh?
No, unless I do it first.
Oh? I do something naughty, Matt?
Well, you threatened a man's life.
That. And just between friends, Matt.
Anything else, Doc? Not murder.
Murder? I'd give him an even break.
With you, that's still murder. Don't you think you better tell me about it?
Mm-hmm. What if I don't tell you?
Then my job's to warn Finley and try to protect him.
You're a tough man to be friends with, Matt.
It applies to you, too, doesn't it?
Guess maybe it does at that. Didn't realize how I put you on the spot by spouting off my good intentions. Sorry.
Forget it. You want to talk to me?
All right. Remember a girl named Ruth Davis?
Mm-hmm. Died in a riding accident a few months ago. I always wondered if that wasn't suicide. She lost her brother 2 weeks before that.
No accident. No suicide.
You sure?
Sure. You know, Ruth and her brother ran the ranch alone.
Mm-hmm.
The man started pestering Ruth, and she hated him. Her brother kicked the man off the ranch. This fella dry gulched Ruth's brother, made it look like a robbery.
You have any proof of this?
Yeah. Ruth was afraid to go to the law, so she sent a letter to me. Here, read it yourself. She says the man was Finley and says she expects him to try and shut her up for good.
Well, that doesn't mean it's Big Jack.
I went to see Ruth's folks. They had her belongings. Among them, I found this.
Watch chain.
Engraved JF on the clasp. Jack Finley. You see why I've got to kill him, Matt? He forced Ruth's horse over that cliff, sure. But do you still think she died accidental?
No. But who's responsible is something for a court to decide.
Court? With Finley's money and influence, he wouldn't spend 5 days in jail even if he was convicted, which he wouldn't be.
He doesn't own the court.
Maybe not, but it's still the most powerful man in the state against a dead girl whose only friend is Doc Holliday. How do you think a judge will decide?
Doc, I'm going to ask you a favor.
Make it one I can give.
I got an idea, but you must let me handle it my way. Give the law a chance.
All right, Matt, I can wait.
Thank you. I'll keep this letter and chain for a while.
All right, but if the law fails, I'll brace Big Jack Finley when he walks out of the courthouse.
And you'll be bracing 2 men, Doc. Finley and me. Come in.
Morning, Marshal. Looks like it'll be a fine day.
Well, you're up kind of early just to bring me a weather report, aren't you, Judge Nathan?
Huh? Oh, well, I want to see you.
Now, go right ahead. You mind if I finish shaving?
No, please do. Just thought I'd chat with you about the...
About the Finleys?
Yes. Yeah, it seems that Big Jack's very upset by your attitude.
I'm not surprised.
Feels you're a little rough on his boy.
I am. But then his boy's a little rough.
Yeah. Well, perhaps Thorne is high-spirited, like yesterday.
Yesterday he was just plain high. Tell me, Judge Nathan, how do you like being on Fenley's payroll?
What?
You know, you used to be a pretty decent person.
Oh, you can't talk to me like...
Yes, I can. I'm sending a copy of Thorne's record to the governor.
Governor?
And with it, I'm sending a list of the writs you've issued to get him out of jail and a copy of the court records.
I've only tempered my justice with mercy, that's all.
Thorne's been arrested for 18 offenses, convicted of 10, spent no time in jail, and paid a total of $15 in fines. I'd say you've been very merciful.
You said you were sending this to the governor. You haven't actually mailed it yet?
No. You got an out.
Not that I don't feel justified in any decisions I've made, but such a report might cause undue talk at the Capitol.
And ruin your political hopes. Well, my conditions are simple. Get off Finley's payroll now.
Very well.
And give me cooperation from here on, no matter who's involved. Do that and I shelve the report.
I'll do it.
Mr. Dillon, trouble's a-making.
What kind of trouble, Chester?
It's Big Jack Finley, Mr. Dillon. He's rounding up his crew at the Alfraganza. They're going to ride Doc Holliday out of town on a rail. Did you cut yourself shaving?
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, don't forget, starting Monday, CBS Radio's tremendous news staff will start bringing you the complete coverage of the Democratic Convention in Chicago. As you found during the Republican Convention, CBS Radio never misses. So, starting Monday, stay with CBS Radio all day and evening for the Democratic Convention. Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
Doc.
What?
Wake up, Doc. It's Matt.
Oh.
What's up? Trouble. Lots of trouble. Big Jack Finley's organizing a little citizens committee of his own hand-picked men coming to escort you out of town.
On a rail?
Yeah, that's the general idea. Here, take this shotgun.
Yeah, I'll hide it under the covers, modest like.
Yeah. I'll wait against the wall here.
Good. That'll put him in a crossfire.
If it comes to that.
If there's enough of them, we're in a spot.
Yeah, likely we are.
You're risking your neck to save me some bruises. One I owe you, friend Matt.
It's my job.
Still one I owe you.
There he is. Wrap him up. All right, stop right there. I'll shoot the man who takes another step.
You think you're going to stop us, Dillon?
I think so. Me and Doc.
Doc.
Show him, Doc.
Sure thing, Marshal. Look, boys, surprise.
Shotgun.
I sure do love surprises.
Dillon, I've got a dozen men with me.
Well, sure, about 6 of them will die, Findlay, if you don't crawl out of here fast.
And guess who'll die first, Big Jack?
You there, Moncrief. I always figured you for some brains. Get your boss out of here, quick.
You're sure talking sense, Big Jack.
Shut up, Moncrief. You showing yellow.
Oh, but, man, there's nothing here for us to die over.
Listen to him, Findlay. That greener Doc is holding has 18 buckshot in each barrel.
We'll get slaughtered if he triggers that thing.
And I'm getting edgy, Findlay.
And me, if I get a coughing spell, I'm liable to shoot without meaning to.
All right. This is twice you have made a Findlay back down. You'll never get a third chance. Let's get out of here.
Matt, when you gonna arrest him?
When I'm ready. Not long.
I hope not. Getting impatient to see that man dead.
I got your message, Marshal. I hope it's important.
It is, Moncrief. How long you been foreman for Big Jack?
15, 16 years.
You know him pretty well. Would he be the kind to kill a girl?
No, of course not. Guess he'd kill a man if he got mad enough, but he wouldn't kill no girl, Marshal.
Well, I have proof that he did. A girl and her brother, but it doesn't set right. I'm hoping you can help.
What's your proof, Marshal?
A letter that names Findlay as the man. Ruth Davis wrote it before she died.
Ruth Davis.
And this watch chain was found with her belongings. It's engraved on the back.
I know. I was with Big Jack when he bought this chain in Chicago. It was right after his wife died.
Big Jack wear it all the time?
You rode the right hunch, Marshal.
What?
Thorne is your man, just like you figure. He had a yen for the Davis girl, but he kept it quiet. Guess he didn't want it known she throwed him over.
But the watch chain...
Big Jack gave that to Thorne on his 25th birthday. Whole ranch can testify to that.
Good. All right, thank you, Moncrief.
You, gonna try and arrest Thorne?
Why?
If Big Jack believes Thorne killed that girl, it'll break his heart.
Broke her neck.
If he don't believe it...
Then?
He'll protect Thorne. And, Marshal, there's not enough lawmen in the state of Kansas to make Big Jack give up his son.
Yeah, what it... Oh, it's you, Marshal. And,
John Holliday. Doc, this is Judge Nathan.
Holiday? Oh, yes, I've heard of you.
I've heard of you, too, Judge. Wonder which has heard the worst.
What's that? Why,
Judge, I'm here on business.
Oh, of course. Come in, won't you? In my study here, so we won't be disturbed. Now, what is it, Marshal?
I want you to swear out a warrant for Thorne Findlay's arrest. Charge, murder. You sure you want to go with me, Doc?
I'm sure.
All right, hold up your right hand.
Oh, no, Matt, you wouldn't make me a lawman.
If you go as my deputy. I'm not letting you make this a private fight.
Yeah, but my friends, if they hear I wore a star... All right, Matt, it's your show.
You swear to uphold and enforce the laws of this community, the state of Kansas, and the United States to the best of your ability as deputy marshal, so help you God?
All of that?
All of that.
I swear.
Here, pin on this badge.
All right, Matt. You know, I'm feeling this badge is going to cramp my style something terrible.
Better breathe our horses going up through this pass. We still got a good ride ahead.
How far?
Oh, about 10 miles.
What do you think, Matt? Will they fight?
Well... Doc! Doc!
Stay in your horse, Marshal. Grab some clouds. Keep those hands high. Hill Queen's on the other side of the pass behind you. That's being smart, Dillon. Queen will drop you if you touch a gun butt.
You're handy at this bushwhacking, aren't you, Thorne? If Doc
He's
is...
all right. My slug seems to have bounced off his thick skull.
Good.
Yeah, let's pull your teeth. Better you do it. With your left hand, reach down and across slow. Pull your gun out with your fingertips and toss it away.
Nervous?
Just cautious.
Or maybe this Queen doesn't exist, huh, Thorne?
Queen! Queen's one of Dad's men, but I pay him extra to work for me. Any more questions?
I guess not. There's my gun.
The rifle next.
I got a penknife in my pants pocket.
You know why Holliday came to Dodge?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you do. You wouldn't be riding with him. Well, he's not going to tell any stories to my dad or anyone else.
You can't kill us, you stupid...
Not planning on killing you.
And what have you got planned?
Queen's kind of a magician. He's going to make Holliday just disappear. Folks won't care much about one of his kind.
I would. I'd care so much I'd hang you for it.
No. No, with Holliday gone, it's your word against mine. And you won't be able to approve a thing, Dillon.
You sure of that?
I'm sure. Otherwise, I'd take care of you along with Holliday. Now get on and start walking back to town. It's like I told you. Law can't touch a Finley.
It was no time for heroics, so I walked. When I reached a turn, I cut back through the rocks, but it was too late. They were gone. And with them, the horses, guns, and Doc Holliday. 2 miles up the road, I found my horse turned loose. And with a mind full of cold hate, I raced on to the Star in a box. On the front porch of the ranch house was one of Big Jack's men.
Hold it right there.
Out of my way, mister. I'm in no mood to shake hands.
Where you heading, lawman?
You don't hear well.
Hey, Dillon.
Where's Holliday?
How should I know? Get off my ranch.
Then where's that prize son of yours?
What?
Trot him out. I want him.
Do you now? What on earth for?
Thorne, put that gun away.
Oh, no. This is just in case the marshal loses his temper.
I've lost it, Junior.
Sure.
Dillon, I've had all I'm going to stand from you.
You just think you have. Where's Holliday, Thorne? Where'd Queen take him?
Holliday? Why, I haven't the faintest idea. Where is Queen, Dad?
Riding fence line, but...
See, Marshal, we don't know where your friend is.
You're under arrest, Thorne.
What's that?
Ask him to show the warrant.
Here. Read it, Finley.
What? Oh, no. No, that's not possible. The judge wouldn't issue a warrant without proof.
He has proof, Thorne.
This is a lie. Thorne couldn't be guilty of murder.
No. Take a look at his face.
Son.
Daddy's trying to frame me. Don't let him get away with this.
No, I won't. I won't. Get out, Dillon.
Man, open your eyes. This is not going to help you.
You heard me. I don't believe you, your warrant, or your proof. I believe my son. So get off this ranch. Get out of the state. You let me see you again, so help me, I'll kill you myself.
Forget me. You're bucking the law. You can't
I make my own law.
So do I.
Doc Holliday.
Yeah, but you're supposed to be dead. Queen was supposed
Queen's
to...
the one who's dead. I carry a knife in my boot just for men like him.
Thorne, God help me. You are guilty.
He sure is. And if he knows any prayers, he'd better get 'em over with.
No, Doc. He goes back with us as our prisoner.
You're wrong, Marshal. I'll take care of my son.
Dad, no.
You rotten, lying, murderous pup.
Please don't,
I
Dad.
should have strangled
Stay
you in
away
the
from me.
cradle when you were
Stay away,
just
I'll
a
shoot.
baby.
I'll shoot you all.
Finley, look out! threw myself at Finley, and both of us hit the floor, rolling away from Thorne as he raised his gun to fire. Then in the doorway, the blood-stained, terrible figure of Doc Holliday went into action. His pale hands blurred over his whole...
Ruth Thorne! Ruth?
Thanks, Chester.
You sure you won't stay around a while, Doc?
Yeah, we're good friends, Matt, but you're a peace officer. I guess I'm not a very peaceful man.
You could be, Doc.
No, I'm not going to change, and you shouldn't. Law needs men like you. No, if I stayed, there's too good a chance I might cross you.
Yeah?
Then I'd have to meet you over gun barrels, and it's one thing I'm afraid of. So long, Matt.
Good luck, Doc.
My. I never would have thought Doc Holliday was scared of meeting anyone in a gunfight.
You don't understand, Chester. Doc's afraid because he might beat me.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Herb Purdom, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in our cast were Harry Bartell as Doc Holliday, with Lee Millar, Nestor Paiva, Ralph Moody, and Tom Tully. Parley Bear is Chester. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Jeannie, what's the matter?
Good morning, Miss Wells.
Good morning, Chester. Matt, I've got to talk to you.
Sure. Chester?
You folks will have to excuse me. I can't be puttering around the office all day. I'll be in the back if you want me.
Yeah?
Matt, he's here in Dodge City. I just saw him. He came in on the morning train.
You mean Ed Beaudry?
Yes. It's been 4 years, Matt. I'd begun to hope he'd forget. Hope he wouldn't find us.
From what you've told me, Beaudry doesn't sound like a man who ever forgets.
He's come here looking for Bert. To kill him, he swore he would. Matt, what are we going to do?
I don't know. What's Bert think about it?
He doesn't know yet. He's busy at the blacksmith shop. Matt, you've got to help us. You're the only real friend we have out here.
It might make it easier if I weren't, Jeannie. I'm supposed to maintain law and order in Dodge. That's my job. Doesn't leave much leeway to mix in on personal quarrels.
Well, there's no quarrel. It's just that Ed Beaudry's a hot-tempered fool. Bert never did anything to him.
He married you, didn't he?
A woman has a right to change her mind, Matt.
Maybe Beaudry doesn't think so.
Matt, you promised me once in Louisville.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. All right, Jeannie, go on home and don't say anything to Bert. I'll talk to Beaudry.
Thank you. I'll never forget it. Goodbye, Matt.
Chester.
Yes, sir. I'll be right there, Mr. Dillon.
Did Miss Wells leave?
Yeah.
Fine couple, the Wellses. Did you know them before they came out west?
Not Bert. I knew Mrs. Wells. I guess we better drop over to the Texas Trail, Chester. There's a fella in town planning to do some killing.
Matt, it's been a long time.
Hiya, Kitty.
Hello, Chester.
Miss Kitty?
Come sit down, Matt. Tell me about things.
I can't right now, Kitty. We're looking for a fella. Thought he might have come in here.
Sooner or later, they all do. Stranger, Matt?
Yeah. He came in on the morning train. His name's Ed Beaudry.
Oh, him. There, the bar, Matt. Third from the end, next to Tulsa Jim Nixon. He's buying Irish whiskey for everybody.
Thank you, Kitty. Come on, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Watch yourself, Matt.
Yeah, sure, Kitty. I'll see you later.
All right, bartender, set up another round of Jamesons for the house.
Your name, Beaudry?
Oh, that's right, mister.
Matt Dillon. I'm a U.S. Marshal here. I'd like to talk to you.
Fine. Go ahead and talk.
Tulsa, suppose you'll move on down the bar for a couple of minutes, huh?
Oh, what's the idea, Marshal? This man's a friend of mine.
You're not very particular about your friends. Now go on, Tulsa. Drift. Mr. Beaudry, you came here to kill Bert Wells, didn't you?
Did I?
Well, here's some advice. Don't do it. Take the next train and get out of town.
Is that official? Just what's the charge, Marshal?
None. Yet. Murder if you go through it.
Well, not the way I understand it. Murder's one thing. Calling a man in a fair fight, that's another thing.
Beaudry, I'm the law here in Dodge, and I don't see it as a fair fight. Bert's a blacksmith, and he's not used to handling a gun. You are. So I'm told.
Who told you, Marshal? I don't know anybody here. Wait a minute, Dillon? Yeah. I heard Jeannie mention you. You knew her back in Louisville before she ran off.
We'll leave her out of this, Beaudry.
So that's it. This isn't official. You're just doing a personal favor for an old friend. Probably a very close friend. Jeannie always did have a weakness.
I warned you once. All right, hold it. Now get up, Beaudry.
That was a mistake, Dillon. Now I'll have to kill you, too.
I'm not a blacksmith, Beaudry.
I'll look you up just soon as I've finished with Bert Wells.
If you kill Bert, you won't have to look me up. Bert? Bert?
Huh? Oh, Matt. I didn't see you come in.
I wanted to talk to you, Bert.
About what, Matt?
Ed Beaudry's in town.
Beaudry. Well, it was bound to happen sometime. Has he been bothering Jeannie?
No, she just happened to see him get off the train this morning. She came and told me.
She shouldn't have done it, Matt. It's not your problem.
Maybe it is, Bert. I'm the law in Dodge, and the law doesn't like the idea of personal grudges ended up in a killing.
What do you aim to do?
Prevent it if I can.
Well, I wish you luck.
You haven't worn that gun for 2 years, Bert. Why start now?
I've got no choice, Matt. You know that.
You mean you got no chance? If you let Beaudry call a showdown, he'll kill you.
Maybe.
Look, Bert, why don't you take to the prairie, hole up for a week or so while I figure some way of running Beaudry out of town, huh?
Would you do it, Matt? Hide out and let somebody else do your fighting for you?
Well, what I'd
That's
do is...
beside the point, Bert.
Jeannie.
There's a law against killing. And it's Matt's job to enforce it. If you went away, there wouldn't be any fight.
Wouldn't be much honor either, Jeannie. Man can't run and still call himself a man.
He can run from a mad dog, and that's what Ed Beaudry is. He never had any claim on me.
It appears he thought he did. Matt, you know where Beaudry's staying?
I talked to him in the Texas Trail. He probably took one of the rooms upstairs.
Like to walk over there with me?
Well, if that's the way you want it.
No, Bert, you...
I'll get my hat. Be right with you.
Matt, you've got to stop it.
Yeah? How?
I don't know. But there must be something you can do.
Yeah, there is. The way it's shaping up, I can probably arrest the survivor. There's still time to turn back, Bert.
I'm afraid not, Matt. I should have had it out with Beaudry back there in Kentucky 5 years ago. Jeannie wanted to run away and avoid trouble, and she was so beautiful it was hard to argue with her.
Yeah, I know. Be hard on her if anything happened to you.
Life's always hard on a woman, I guess. Worse out here on the prairie. Look out for her, Matt, in case I... Well, I mean if anything.
Mr. Dillon?
Huh? Oh, what is it, Chester?
Beaudry left the saloon a little while ago. Went over to the livery stable to hire a horse.
Oh?
I think he's riding out to your place, Mr. Wells. He's been doing a lot of talking.
Jeannie will be there alone, Matt. I better get back home.
It won't be necessary. Here comes Beaudry now.
I won't draw unless he does, Matt.
Heads up, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Oh, boy. Oh. Just riding out to call on you, Wells. I decided you'd had plenty of time to look me up.
No reason to, Beaudry.
Most men'd figure they had reason. Somebody been in a local saloon, telling their wife's history.
What? Beaudry, you... All right, hold it. Don't draw, Bert. Chester, cover Beaudry.
Just keep your hands still, Mr. Beaudry.
You're fast with that gun, Dillon.
Fast enough, Mr.
You make
Beaudry.
a good bodyguard. Too bad you can't ride her 24 hours a day.
I told you what to expect if you keep pushing this thing, Mr. Beaudry. Now use some sense and get out of town while you're still alive.
I've been in lots of towns, Dillon. I left them all alive. Wells, I've been planning to kill you for 5 years.
Plans don't always work out.
Listen, Will. You got till sundown. After that, I'm going to shoot you on sight.
All right, Mr. Beaudry. If you've finished speaking your piece, move along.
Why, surely, Mr. Dillon. See you later.
Well, still a couple of hours before sundown. Think I'd like to spend them with Jeannie. I'll see you, Matt.
Yeah, sure. Goodbye, Bert.
I declare I just can't see any way of stopping it, Mr. Dillon.
I can't either.
I'd sure hate to be in Bert Wells' shoes.
I'd hate worse to be in Beaudry's. He'll never submit to arrest. Chester, I'm going to have to kill him.
Why don't you relax, Matt? You're nervous as a cat.
Yeah, and I'll stay nervous, Kitty, until I find out what's happened to those two.
Beaudry slipped out the back way just at dusk. Piano player saw him.
Yeah. Well, Bert pulled the same trick. I had a couple of boys watching a blacksmith shop, but he managed to give them the slip.
There's nothing you can do now, Matt.
Well,
Another killing. And you in the middle again. Why, Matt? Why do you do it?
it's a job, Kitty. Somebody's got to do it.
But why you? There are other things in life if you look around for them.
Well, maybe I will someday.
Will you look my way, Matt?
Well, Matt, I brought my kit. I'm all prepared. Where are the victims?
No victims yet, Doc. You're jumping the gun.
Well, I understand it's going to be a real showdown. The boys at the bar are offering 2-1 on Beaudry.
That's about the odds I figure if the shooting really starts.
Oh, it'll start all right. Oh, and there's not a thing in the world can stop it.
Chester, what are you doing in here? I told you to watch that street.
Yes, sir, I know you did.
The fight's as likely to start out there as any place else.
No, sir, Mr. Dillon. I guess there's not going to be any fight.
What?
They just found Beaudry lying in an alley down the block.
Matt.
Somebody sneaked up behind him with a hammer. He's sure dead.
We'll return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, what is the connection between the statue in the square and a pair of thugs who are definitely not on the square with the law? Tonight on Gangbusters, hear the complete details of this exciting case taken from actual police files. Remember, it's Gangbusters later tonight on most of these same CBS radio stations. Don't miss it. Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
No light showing around the house, Mr. Dillon.
No. Nor the shop either. He might have skipped out.
Well, what about his wife, though?
I don't know, Chester. I can't figure any of this. It's not like Bert to pull a sneaking trick like that.
Hold it. No move.
He's there by the tree, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Bert?
Who is it? Who's that?
Matt. Chester's with me. You better put away the gun.
All right, Matt. I thought it was somebody else.
Who, Bert?
Well, you know who. Beaudry, of course.
Guess I better take your gun.
Official, Matt?
Official.
Well, I got no quarrel with the law. Here.
Thank you. Now, why did you do it?
What do you mean?
If it had been a gunfight, the law couldn't have touched you. The circumstances are all in your favor. But this way they'll call it murder, and they'll be right, because that's what it was.
Matt, what are you talking about?
It's no use. You left the hammer lying right beside his body. It's got your shop brand carved in the handle of it.
Whose body you talking about? You mean Beaudry?
Yeah, sure, Beaudry.
Matt, you're making a mistake. I went looking for Beaudry, yes, but I didn't find him. And I come back here. I was afraid to leave Jeannie there in the house alone. I didn't do it, Matt. You're wrong.
It's not up to me, Bert. It's the court's job. All I can do is take you in. The evidence is too strong, and I got no choice.
No choice? I didn't have a choice either. We must have had a choice somewhere back down the line. When? Where was it we could have stopped and turned back?
I'm a marshal, not a philosopher. Now, let's go.
What about Jeannie? I got to tell her.
Chester will take care of it.
Be better if you do it, Matt. You're a friend. That'd make it easy.
I'd rather not if you don't mind. Now, come on, let's go. right, Bert. Step inside.
4 years we've been friends, Matt. I never thought it would come to this.
Neither did I.
You said you didn't find any money on him. It could have been robbery.
I made to look like robbery. But either way, there's nothing I can do. Now, you better step inside. I'll bring you some blankets and tobacco. If you want anything else, let me know.
Wish I knew how Jeannie was taking it.
She'll be all right. She's a fine girl.
Matt, look out for her, will you?
Bert, a man's job is one thing, friendship's another. This prairie country is rough and tough and wild at the best. And without the law, nobody could survive in it. And that means putting friendship aside sometimes. But a man still doesn't forget. Yeah, I'll look out for her.
Thanks, Matt.
I'll see you later.
Well, you get your prisoner tucked in safely, Matt?
What about Beaudry?
He's dead. Absolutely dead. Like I never saw anybody any deader. Blacksmith hammer makes a mighty fine weapon.
Yeah, at least for sneaking up behind.
I can't figure Bert doing that's not like him.
Sometimes a man changes under pressure, Doc. Yeah, I can't figure it either.
What would you say his chances are?
Bad. Straws all point one way.
Maybe somebody's been messing with the straw stack.
Who?
That's a good question, man.
Well, the court will ask it.
Yeah, if he ever gets there.
What do you mean?
I just come from Texas Trail a while ago, and some of the boys are kind of riled up. They're talking real loose.
No law against talking.
Doubt if they aim to leave it at talking, Matt. They figure the evidence is a little on the weak side. A court might turn Bert loose, so they're saying it's up to them.
Yeah, they're just mad because they lost their source of free drink.
Well, maybe so, but you better keep your eyes open, Matt.
Yeah, I know that pack, Doc. They hunt in the dark and pull down stragglers, and mostly they just talk. So don't worry. Bert's in jail, and that's where he's going to stay.
Matt? Matt, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Wait a minute, I'll light the lamp.
What were you doing sitting here in the dark?
Yeah, just thinking, wondering. You shouldn't have come here, Jeannie.
Matt, I want to see Bert.
No visitors after dark. It's a jail rule.
Rules don't have to be enforced.
Mine do. Bert's a prisoner, same as any other prisoner. He's charged with murder.
He didn't do it, Matt.
It's not for me to say.
But you know he didn't. You know Bert. You know he wouldn't do a thing like that. Sneak up behind a man's back in the dark.
I'm not the court, Jeannie.
I know. And they'll believe he did it.
Yeah, the night train's coming in. Hope it's not bringing in trouble.
The morning train did. Matt, I want to see Bert.
I told you that you... Why, you little fool. Give me the gun, Jeannie.
No. I warn you, Matt. Stay
Give
back.
me the gun.
No, Matt. So help me,
I said hand it over.
You knew I wouldn't shoot.
Yeah. Now, what did you hope to gain by that?
I don't know. Get Bert out. Maybe I don't know. None of this is his fault. Something's got to be done. Matt, you've got to help me.
Easy.
Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, what is it, Chester?
I just come from the Texas Trail. I think there's going to be some trouble.
Trouble?
The bunch that hangs out around there are doing a lot of drinking and talking up the idea of coming over here to the jail.
Oh, no.
Well, maybe we ought to go over there and do some talking ourselves. Jeannie, I think the best thing for you to do is to go back home and stay there till morning. Now, don't worry about this. Nothing's going to happen.
Oh, but, Matt, you can't handle that crowd alone.
I've been handling things alone for a long time. All right, Chester.
Tulsa Jim Nixon's the one who's been egging him on, Mr. Dillon. Over there at the end of the bar.
Yeah, he struck up an acquaintance with Beaudry when he first got off the train. Guess he figures he's an old partner by now. Well, come on.
Yes, sir.
Matt, wait.
Later, Kitty, I got some business with the boys at the bar.
That's what I mean. Tulsa Jim's been buying them drinks for the last 2 hours. They're in a real nasty mood.
So?
So be careful, Matt. That's all. Just be careful.
Kitty, I'm the carefulest man you know.
Sure. We got the law here in Dodge. Supposedly. But what kind of a law is it that lets a man sneak up behind somebody in the dark and murder him in cold blood?
I don't know, Tulsa. Suppose you tell me.
Dillon.
Now, don't let me interrupt you. You were doing fine. Well, this is quite an audience you got. All the panhandlers, bums, and barflies in Dodge. It's quite a collection.
Well, calling names won't change the facts, Dillon.
What facts?
A friend of yours, Bert Wells, had sneaking cowardly murder.
That's for the court to decide, Tulsa.
The court? They'll turn him loose. They work hand in glove with you. Dillon, we're not going to stand for it.
That's right. All right, shut up! So you're not going to stand for it, huh? Well, just what are you planning to do?
You'll find out in due time, Dillon. Oh, I tend to set him up again all around.
Yeah, you've turned into quite a free spender, Tulsa. I never knew you to... A double eagle gold piece. You mind if I take a look at it?
It's good. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Where'd you get it?
That's my business, Dillon.
So you're the one who killed Beaudry.
That's a lie.
I thought robbing him was just a cover-up, but it wasn't. There aren't many double eagles around Dodge. Beaudry had a lot of them. Now you. Why would you get a pocket full of gold pieces, Tulsa?
Wells killed Beaudry. The blacksmith hammer was lying right beside him.
Yes, where you left it.
What does she mean?
Tulsa Jim came into my husband's shop late this afternoon. His horse had thrown a shoe. He had plenty of chance to steal that hammer.
She's lying.
Where did you get the gold, Tulsa?
I won it in the poker game. Last week when the trail herd would...
Tulsa, you're under arrest for murder.
No, you'll never take me! Get down!
All right, Doc. You better get up an inquest.
Confound it, Matt. You never give me any chance to practice on live people.
You wouldn't know what to do with them, Doc.
Well, I do get fewer complaints this way.
Matt, does this mean that Bert's free?
You shouldn't have come here, Jeannie. Yeah, he's free. Chester will go with you over to the jail and let him out.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you for everything. You told me one time in Louisville that...
Louisville? That was a long time ago and a long way off. So, goodbye, Jeannie.
Goodbye, Matt.
What's it all about, Matt?
What? What's anything all about, Kitty? Professor, what do you say we'll just have a little tune, huh?
Why, sure thing, Mr. Dillon. What'd you like to hear?
Oh, how about that one of Foster's? Jeannie. Jeannie with the light brown hair.
You bet.
You knew her before, didn't you, Matt?
Yeah, I met her in Louisville one summer. Saw her quite a lot for a couple of months. And then I drifted out west.
A man misses out on things by drifting.
I told her then if she ever needed help to call on me.
Well, she called, and you helped her.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, that's that.
Matt,
Yeah. Yeah, Kitty.
when are you going to help yourself?
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Les Crutchfield, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in our cast were Tom Tully, Lynn Allen, Larry Dobkin, Georgia Ellis, and Barney Phillips. Parley Bear as Chester, and Howard McNear as Doc. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Oh, boy. Oh. Wild Hog? Wild Hog, that you? Wild Hog, you there? Who are you? Put that spear down. Listen, Wild Hog and me are friends, big friends. You'll make much noise. You're a Cheyenne, ain't you? You must be with Wild Hog. What name, you white man? I'm Ord Spicer. Ord Spicer, you hear? You bother me and you'll be in big trouble with Wild Hog. No trouble. Tell these other redskins to put their spears down. I need more room. Come, white man. Are you with Wild Hog or ain't you? Much talk, come. All right. Any tricks, I'll shoot you first. No one around here. Where is he? Horse here, you walk. Blasted, why can't he ride out like anybody else? I want to be in Dodge tonight. Come. Wild Hog? It's me. It's Ord Spicer, all right.
Yes.
These braves of yours sure keep you covered. You can't tell one from another, except you, of course. I even thought maybe I'd run into the wrong Indians.
No moon tonight.
Oh, I recognized them as Cheyennes, all right, but you never know with...
With what, Spicer?
Nothing, Wild Hog. Forget it.
You never know with Indians.
Now, Wild Hog, you and me are friends. Don't get so touchy. I didn't mean nothing.
We are not friends. I pay you. That is all.
Sure, we're friends. You're about the most educated Indian I ever met, that's why.
I learn only English from the white man. Nothing else.
Well, you sure had a good teacher, fella.
General Custer, many bitter moons ago. I was a scout.
Don't matter, I never heard of him.
He was killed.
Well, that's nothing to do with me. You got the money, Wild Hog?
Yes. Here. $500.
500? Our deal was for 1,000.
You will get the rest later.
But I'm running a big risk for you Cheyennes. This is mighty dangerous work, Wild Hog.
It will be even more dangerous if we do not meet again, Spicer.
Oh, Wild Hog, you can trust me. I'll be back, you know that.
Yes. When?
Ooh, 2-3 days. Where'll I find you?
Make camp near here. We'll find you.
Okay. I'll get on into Dodge now. Goodbye, Wild Hog.
Don't get drunk, Spicer.
Never touch it. Hey, bartender, set out another bottle of whiskey for me and my friend.
What'd you say you're called, stranger?
Ord Spicer, friend. Here, let me fill your glass. Some town you got here, Dodge.
You're sure easy with your money, Spicer.
Nothing's too good for my friend. Say, what name you go by anyway?
You got a lot of money, Spicer.
Sure, I got money. I'll have more soon.
You must have hit it rich, huh?
Sure, I hit it rich. Easy money, friend. Easy money.
How'd you do it, Spicer, anyway?
Friend, I live like a gambler. My life's chicken one day and feathers the next. Right now, it's all chicken.
Yeah, but how'd you do it? You made out real good, Spicer.
Brains and guts, friend. Brains and guts. That's all it takes.
I know, but how? You don't get money like that robbing old Indians.
What's that?
Huh?
What'd you say about Indians?
Oh, it's just a way of saying it back home. Don't get on the pride about it.
Maybe you talk too much. Maybe you ask too many questions.
Hey, what's the matter with you anyway?
Maybe you know too much.
Look, Spicer, if you're hiding something, don't trouble yourself. I ain't interested in you or your money or your liquor.
I don't like that.
You don't have to.
You bet I don't.
Keep your eyes right on mine, Spicer. I want to watch you die. Spicer.
Morning, Mr. Dillon.
How's our prisoner, Chester?
I got 2, Mr. Dillon.
You got 2?
Yes, sir. There's that Ord Spicer fella you locked up, and then there's a drunk who tried to buffalo me after you went to bed.
No? Did you have any trouble with him?
A little, Mr. Dillon. He tried to hit me on the head with his 6 gun.
Well, you look all right.
Oh, he didn't do it, sir. I bit his thumb and kneed him at the same time.
Well, that's quite a trick, Chester. You must have been practicing.
No, sir, I haven't been practicing. But I had it all thought out.
I see. All right, let's turn Spicer loose.
I'll go get him, Mr. Dillon.
Where you been? I ain't had nothing to eat. About time. Where's my gun, Marshal?
There it is, Spicer. And, don't use it around here anymore.
You can't bother a man for self-defense.
I just want you to stay out of Dodge. 1 kill at your limit here, even in self-defense.
I ain't afraid of you, Marshal. Besides, this is a poor town anyways. You can have it.
My, that man'd kick a hog barefooted.
He sure would, Chester.
There's something real bad about him.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, Chester, and I hope I don't have to find out.
Well, you'll go away. Fellas like that gotta keep moving. Seems like nobody wants him.
Now, don't feel sorry for him, Chester. He got that way all by himself.
Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir.
Morning, Marshal.
Those greeners get here yet, Jack?
Yep. Come in on the Santa Fe yesterday, Marshal. 4 of them. Right back here.
Oh, good.
Beautiful guns, ain't they? Just beautiful.
You're a good storekeeper, Jack, but I only need 2 of them.
Well, I can make you a good price on all 4, Marshal.
It wouldn't be any good if I don't need 4, would it?
Well, maybe not, but I never know. I got half a dozen 44 Sharps rifles, same shipment. Thought I'd be stuck with them forever. Well, with the big 50 out now, there ain't a Buffalo hunter to use a 44 anymore.
I don't see any 44s.
Well, that's just what I'm telling you. Feller stopped in just this morning, took all 6. Paid me $75 a piece, too.
You sold 6 rifles to one man?
That's right, Marshal.
The Buffalo hunter?
Looked more like a drifter to me. Had plenty of cash, though.
You know his name?
No idea. Nothing wrong with it, was there, Marshal? Been a holdup around here I haven't heard about?
No. Just a lot of rifles for one man to buy.
No log in it, is there?
What'd this man look like, Jack?
Tall, skinny, kind of mean face.
Mm-hmm. You wear 1.6 gun with black grips?
Yeah. Come to think of it, he did. You know him?
Yeah. Ord Spicer. He killed a man last night. Self-defense.
Well, now I heard about that shooting. What do you suppose he's up to now?
Where'd he go?
I wouldn't know it. Packed the rifles on a mule and rode out of town. You going after him, Marshal?
No. It's like you say, Jack. There's no law against a man buying all the rifles he wants. Seems strange, that's all. Well, let's settle on the price for those greeners, huh? Next day, Chester and I took the new greeners and rode out for prairie chicken. We had a sackful within an hour, and we headed back to town, arguing on the way as to whether we'd bake the birds whole or just cut the breasts off and broil them. We still hadn't settled the matter when we reached Dodge, and we never did. The stage from Hays City had arrived half hour before, bringing with it the bodies of 2 men found alongside the road.
They were just laying there, Marshal, about 5 miles back. Both shot dead, but I thought I'd better bring them in anyway.
Did you recognize them, Pete?
No, Marshal, I didn't. The doc says they're a couple of riders from the T-Bar outfit.
Yeah.
He got them up in his office now.
You bring in their horses?
No sign of a horse, but there was an awful lot of tracks around.
All right. I'll go see if Doc's found anything. Hang around, Pete, will you? I may want some more information from you.
Okay if I do my waiting at the Alfraganza, Marshal?
Yeah, sure.
I'll put our horses up, Mr. Dillon.
Yours, Chester. I may want mine.
Yes, sir.
Oh, hello, Marshal. Just finishing up here. Be right with you.
How'd they die, Doc?
Well, they got half shot and then shot dead, Marshal.
Yeah, I know, but is there any way of telling if maybe they killed each other?
That does it. No, there is, Marshal, but I'd be mighty surprised if they did.
What do you mean, Doc?
Well, they were cowboys, Marshal. Cowboys just don't generally carry buffalo guns. Here, take a look.
What?
I dug some of these out of each of them. Those are slugs from a Sharps rifle, Marshal.
Yeah, sure are.
Mm-hmm. That one is the best I found, right there.
Mm-hmm. What caliber did you say this is, Doc?
Oh, I'd guess 44.
44 Sharps.
Mm-hmm. Not many 44s in use around here since the big 50 came on.
I know a man with 6 of them, Doc.
What do you think of that?
I'll let you know when I get back. So long, Doc.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, behind the famous creaking door to Inner Sanctum tomorrow evening, there lies one of the most hair-raising tales to date. Meet Raymond, your host on Inner Sanctum tomorrow night on most of these same CBS radio stations. Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
The stage driver rode with me back to where he'd found the bodies, and from there I rode on alone. It was an easy trail at first. There must have been more than a dozen horses running together. Long toward dusk, however, they suddenly split up, and I was faced with two different trails to follow. I made a gambler's choice and rode harder than ever. There was only an hour of light left to track by when my horse stepped into a prairie dog hole, snapped his leg, and went over hard. My head glanced off a rock. There was a shower of light, and then nothing.
That's him, all right. That's Dillon. He's the marshal at Dodge I told you about.
I think he is not dead.
No? Well, I'll fix that.
Stop. Put away your gun.
But you can't let him live. He'd kill us, all right. I'm going to kill him anyway.
You die for it if you do.
Okay. You're the boss. But you'll wish I'd shot him.
He is coming to now. We take care of him our own way. White Cloud, pick up his guns.
Yeah, he isn't hurt. Just knocked out, that's all.
Indians. Cheyennes.
I'm no Indian, Marshal.
Spicer. Yeah, sure.
No tricks now, Marshal. These redskins will shoot you to pieces.
Yeah. Are those new Sharps 44s you bought them, huh, Spicer?
It's no business of yours, Marshal. Not now. You're through. You're all the way through.
Spicer, you're under arrest.
What?
I said you're under arrest.
Now, Marshal, what are you arresting me for? Not that it matters much.
For selling guns to Indians and on suspicion of murder.
All right, so I'm under arrest, but, Marshal, I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
How are you going to take me in, that's all? Just how are you going to manage it?
I'll worry about that.
You sure will. Come on, Wild Hog, let's shoot him and get it over with.
This is a man of much heart. I admire his courage. To stand with death on all sides and arrest a man. No, we will not kill him. Not yet.
But you can't take him with us.
White Cloud, give him a horse. Come.
They gave me a horse, all right, with the T-Bar brand on it. But I was surrounded by 6 armed Indians and a no-good white who'd shoot me any time he thought he could get by with it. Wild Hog rode up ahead, leading the party northwest, apparently to rendezvous with a bunch that had split off from this one. Spicer stayed right alongside of me.
Well, am I still under arrest, Marshal?
You're still guilty, aren't you?
Sure. I'll admit it. Don't matter, being as how you'll never see Dodge again or any other place.
What are you doing with these Cheyennes here anyway, Spicer?
I got a deal with Wild Hog, Marshal. Real good deal.
Killing white men, part of it?
They don't need any help there, Marshal. They like to kill white men.
Maybe they'll kill you before they're through.
No, I'm too valuable to them. They like me.
No? Now, why would they like you?
Well, they didn't at first, but I talked them into it. Talked Wild Hog into it. He's a smart fella, that Indian. Saw right away what I could do for him. Like buying those rifles.
What else did you do for him?
Well, I stopped those 2 riders with the horses. Told them I was sick. Got them off guard. Those Cheyennes were on before they could move. It was real easy.
You're kind of like a Judas sheep in a slaughter pen, huh?
Yeah, that's it, Marshal. Pays better, though.
I got $500 coming since we find a ranch or two to raid.
I see.
Pretty good deal, huh?
You know, I think a lot more of these Indians than I do of you, Spicer.
I don't like that, Marshal.
At least they got an argument on their side. But you're just a renegade white.
I'll kill you for that, Marshal.
Now, shut up.
All right, you've asked for it.
Shoot me and Wild Hog will split you wide open, Spicer. Besides, he spotted the rest of his party up there.
Huh? Oh, yeah. All right for now, Marshal. But I'll see you dead. I promise I'll see you dead.
I was still alive 2 days later when we crossed the Smoky Hill River about 100 miles northwest of Dodge. There were 15 Cheyennes in the party. And day and night, 2 of them, by turns, never took their eyes off of me. They seemed anxious for an excuse to cut my throat. I had to watch every movement I made. Looked pretty hopeless. Wild Hog was smart, and he took no chances. But often he and I rode along together, though always flanked by my 2 warrior guards.
Country is greener already. Better every mile.
Why have you been raiding so far south, Wild Hog, if you like this land better?
We are northern Cheyenne, Marshal, from the Bighorn Mountains. The Army took us south to a reservation in the Oklahoma Territory.
Oh, so that's it. You jumped your reservation, huh?
Why should we live in a hot, flat land that has no game?
But the Army will be after you again. You've broken the law.
Whose law? Ours or yours?
All right, Wild Hog. But the Indian has a law against murder. You've broken that twice that I know of.
Cheyenne does not speak of it as murder to kill his enemy.
Those cowboys weren't your enemy, Wild Hog. They weren't fighting you.
The Army drove us from our home in the mountains. The Army took our horses from us. We are going back home now on other horses, that's all.
That doesn't explain your killing. Those men were peaceful.
Marshal, if I could, I would kill every white man in the country. But I cannot. The Indian nations cannot. The red man has always fled before the white man.
Those cowboys weren't chasing you?
We needed their horses.
They didn't even have a chance to fight. You tricked them.
Is it only the white man who is allowed to trick his enemy? I was young once, Marshal, but I have seen too much trickery and lies and destruction and broken promises.
I'll admit that's happened, Wild Hog. But you know, not every man is a liar and a killer.
No. There are white men like you. And there are white men like Spicer.
Spicer. Tell me something. Would you consider Ord Spicer guilty of murder?
The Indian is Spicer's enemy, not his own people. Therefore, it is murder.
Then you understand why it's Spicer I came after, not you.
Why not me, Marshal?
You're the Army's problem, not mine.
I expect to fight the Army many times before we reach the mountains.
Yeah. What are your plans for me, Wild Hog?
I have been thinking.
Yeah?
I do not know yet.
Well, what about Spicer?
Spicer works for me. Why should I think about him?
Then you're not as smart as I figured.
All right, Marshal. I do not trust Spicer. He is a traitor to his own people and only for money. I have rifles now and enough horses. I do not need Spicer.
You're going to kill him?
Why not? He is only another white man.
You said yourself you can't kill all the white men.
If you were free, Marshal, you would take him back and let other white men kill him. What difference how he dies?
Makes a difference to me, Wild Hog. I'm a lawman.
I may have to kill you, too.
You're a hard man to be friends with.
I will explain to you, Marshal. It matters little about any Indian. Few more winters and not many of my people will be alive. I do not complain of our fate. Tribe follows tribe, nation follows nation. It is the law of nature. The white man's turn to be defeated and to disappear will come. It is just a matter of time. And so we may be brothers after all, Marshal.
I'm not sure I believe all of that, Wild Hog.
Of course not. Still, I recognize you as a warrior among your people, as I am a warrior among mine.
Too bad we're not on the same side.
As long as we are brave and willing to die, does not matter. I ride ahead now. You stay with the others.
That night we reached the North Fork of the Solomon River and camped with the shadow of low hills not many miles ahead. Wild Hog ordered my guards to keep me some distance from the rest of the party. So I pulled up some buffalo grass and bedded down on it early. I watched the stars until sleep came. Next thing I heard was the sound of horses fading off in the distance. The two braves guarding me had disappeared, so I got up and walked carefully back to where the Cheyennes were camped. There, a couple of horses stood tied to a bush, but they were alone. The Indians had left. I stopped for a moment to listen. And then, suddenly, I saw the figure of a man lying in the moonlight about 20 feet off. Spicer? Spicer? Yeah, there's no blood on you. You're all right. Come on a minute, man. Come on.
Yeah. My head.
You've been knocked out, that's all. Now, come on, sit up.
Oh, it's you, Marshal. What happened? Where are they? Where's Wild Hog?
They've gone.
Gone? Gone where? Here, let me... Yeah. Where'd they go?
They've been headed for the Bighorn Mountains. Less chance of running into the army if they travel at night.
But they couldn't leave me. Not here. Not now.
Looks like they did. Some brave clubbed you and they rode off, that's all.
But I gotta go with them.
You're still groggy, Spicer. And you're still under arrest. Remember?
You can't take me in, Marshal. Wild Hog will be back. He won't let you.
Why do you think he left you here, Spicer?
We're friends. Big friends, me and Wild Hog.
You got no friends. You don't belong in anybody's camp. And I'm taking you back to Dodge anyway.
That murdering redskin.
He's a better man than you, Spicer. He's brave and he's willing to die. Now, come on, we got a long ride back.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in tonight's cast were Harry Bartell, Larry Dobkin, Herb Vigran, and Jack Crucian. Harley Bayer is Chester, and Howard McNear is Dark. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers. And that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
There. Report's finished, Mr. Dillon.
Good. You better go on home now, Chester. It's getting late.
Yes, sir. Oh, what about these new Dodgers?
I'll just leave them there. I'll look them over.
What's the matter, Mr. Dillon?
We got company at the back door. All right, come in, mister. In, I said.
Get your paws off of me.
What? A girl?
Sure, I'm a girl. What do you think I am?
Well, put that long rifle away and I'll tell you. Where'd you get that thing, anyway?
Pappy brought it with him from Kentucky, if it's any of your business, which it ain't by a darn sight.
Uh-huh. What you doing hanging around in the alley?
Get rid of him there and we'll jaw about it.
Huh? I see. Chester. Good night.
Hmm? Well, but I'm not going to... Yes, sir. Good night, Mr. Dillon. My gracious.
You the marshal here?
That's right, miss.
My name's Hannah. Hannah Tolman. You arrest folks, don't you?
Well, if they've committed a crime, yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, then I got somebody for you to arrest.
Who?
Pappy.
Why?
'Cause I said to, that's why. Somebody's been trying to kill him. I figure about the safest place for him is in jail.
Wait a minute, slow down. Let's start at the beginning, huh?
A few days ago, Pappy was bushwhacked up in the hills near our place.
Oh? Was he hurt?
No. Slug just bounced off in his head a little. Yesterday, the bushwhacker tried again. He missed.
Sounds like a bad shot.
Sure. But if he keeps trying, he may get lucky. So you put Pappy in jail until I can run down this ambushing gent, okay?
You plan to cross guns with him yourself?
I may be a girl, but I was barking squirrels while you was still trying to dent a tin can.
Well, you better let me take care of it, miss. And as for your father, I can't jail him without a charge.
Sure, I know that. What kind of a charge do you want?
Well, what kind do you have?
Well, most any, I reckon. Ain't it enough that he's drunk all the time?
Well, I can hold him overnight on that.
What if he shoots up the town?
That's 5 days for disturbing the peace.
That'll do.
Where did he do this shooting?
We ain't, yet. He's down at the Alafraganza slopping up booze at that other old buzzard Jingle Bob.
Oh, the Swamper?
Yeah, that's the one. You'd best be somewheres around the saloon in a few minutes. I got a feeling Pappy's about due to bust the law again.
Her story didn't make much sense, but there was something about the mountain girl's gleaming black eyes and the set of her pretty but stubborn face that made me go to the Alafraganza. At the bar, I ordered a glass of rye and watched two bewhiskered old-timers trying to outlie each other over a rapidly emptying bottle.
Yes, Jingle Bob. You just wait and see. Jed Tolman's gonna have the biggest darn horse ranch in Kansas come spring.
Sure you are, absolutely. And me, why, I reckon I'll just buy up this here saloon.
Oh, you're lying.
Well, sure I am. Ain't you?
What's my money we're spending, ain't it? How many times I gotta tell you I'm getting rich?
Pappy, are you drunk?
If I ain't, I've been wasting a sight of time. Now leave me alone, daughter. Go home where you belong.
I'm going. Only come over to tell you, man bet me $10 you couldn't shoot out that lamp on the first shot.
What's that? Oh, give me that rifle.
All right, hold on. That's enough of that.
Stay back, son.
What?
What's going on?
Now, go collect your $10, daughter.
Yeah, Pappy. But I think the marshal here's a fixin' to arrest you.
Huh?
Ain't you, Marshal?
Yeah, I guess I am. All right, come along, Jed. Come on.
Why, get your hands
Come on.
off me. Why, I never... You jailing a man for having a little fun. Why, you'd never get away with this back in Kentucky.
Jed, you're in trouble, aren't you? Who's trying to kill you?
No, I reckon that's my business.
Now, that's the law's business.
I'll take care of myself, Marshal.
Uh-huh. Back in the saloon there, you mentioned having money and getting more.
So?
From what I've heard, you and your daughter run a two-bit horse ranch up in the hills. That hardly figures to make you rich.
So?
Ah, you thick-headed old... Look, all I'm doing is trying to save your skin if it's in danger. Now, why don't you help me instead of being...
Reckon I don't wanna.
Well, that's plain enough. Morning, Chester.
Morning, Mr. Dillon. You better take a look at this new Dodger.
Huh? Wanted for robbery and murder, Vic Tolman. So that murderous gun hawk is loose again, huh?
Broke out of prison last week.
Yeah.
If he's kin to Jed Tolman, he'll likely be heading this way.
Yeah, likely. I'll give you a hunch, Chester. I think he's here already.
You do? You know where he is?
No, not exactly. But I expect Hannah Tolman may have an idea. And that's where I'm heading.
Now, that's what I like to see. A man-sized appetite.
This wonderful corn pone.
I'm a good cook. I've been cooking for Pappy ever since Ma died 10 years ago.
Huh? You take pretty good care of him.
Somebody has to. Pappy's kind of shiftless. I reckon he'd starve if I didn't feed him. Only things he cares about are wild horses and booze. In a pinch, he'd give up horses.
You know, you're quite a woman, Hannah. You're pretty, brave, and with more courage than most men I know.
Too quick, Marshal.
What?
You're sweetening me up for some reason. Not that I mind, you understand. I'm partial to a strapping fella like you. And Pappy's always after me to get hitched up. Says it ain't fitting for me to be 22 without a man.
Oh, you're still young.
Not the mountain folk. I'm an old maid. And I'm agreeable for some sweet talk. Only I don't trust yours. What are you after, Marshal?
All right, Hannah. I only want the truth.
About what?
Where's your father getting this money he's spending?
I wish I knew.
Who shot at him?
I don't know, but I'm aiming to find out.
Where's Vic? Where's he hiding, Hannah?
Who?
Vic Tolman, your brother. Or maybe he's your cousin.
Brother.
Where?
I don't know.
Hannah, be sensible. Vic's a murderer.
Vic's my kin. We Tolmans don't turn on each other.
If you shelter him, you're guilty of...
Marshal, I reckon you just wore out your welcome.
The prisoner will stand up and face me. Jed Tolman, you've been found guilty of disturbing the peace. Sentence of this court is 5 days in jail or $100.
100? Well, Judge, ain't that a mite steep just for...
$100 or 5 days.
I ain't got that much on me. But I can get it if you let me go.
Just a minute.
Order in the court. Now, what's the meaning of this interruption?
I want to pay this man's fine, Your Honor.
That's your privilege, sir. $100. Pay the clerk.
Yes, sir.
Dick Curry. Somebody's been turning over rocks.
Well, I don't know him, but he's sure a friend. Looks like I ain't going with you, Marshal.
Yeah, looks like. But in your boots, I wouldn't be happy. Curry's one of the worst killers yet unhung.
Oh, no, Matt, is that a way to talk about me? I'm clear with the law. Come on, Mr. Tolman.
Go ahead, Jed. And, say hello to Vic for me.
Vic? No. Mr. Curry. Is that true?
What's the difference who put up the 100? Come on.
No. No, not if it's Vic. No, you can't make me.
I said come on.
Marshal, don't let him take me.
Oh, shut up and come on before
Curry.
Stay out of this, Marshal.
I don't think so. You paid his fine. You didn't buy him.
He's going with me, Matt. Don't try to stop me.
I can't imagine anything that'd give me more pleasure.
You don't like living, do you?
Very much. Now, just any time you feel like it.
No. Not here, Matt. I'll pick my spot.
Yeah. I'll try not to turn my back on any dark alleys.
Do that. And, Tolman, I'll be seeing you again.
We'll return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, strength against aggression calls for guns, tanks, planes, and explosives in tremendous quantity. It calls for other things, too. Moral strength, based on equality of opportunity for all, and economic strength, which today can be based only on continued high output of civilian goods. America must produce, as she never has before, war material, civilian goods, and democracy. Only an all-out effort in all three directions will give us security against aggression. Now the second act of Gunsmoke.
Some stud, Marshal? Why don't we play while we wait?
No thanks, Jingle Bob. You needn't wait with us.
Jed's my friend, Mr. Dillon.
Sure.
Maybe I can't help him none, but at least I can share whatever the trouble is. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Jed here's a lying old ringtail drunk, but me, well, when a man is down to scrubbing saloon floors just to get the liquor that'll keep his nerves from shaking apart, he's grateful for any friendship that's offered.
Don't move. Curry, get his gun.
Sure thing.
You recognize me, Marshal?
Yeah, that's how that...
Yeah. Vic Tolman. There are Dodgers out on you.
You're a cool one, Dillon. Too bad we're on opposite sides of the fence.
Yeah, it's too bad. Real pity. You know, I'm going to enjoy this job.
What job?
Don't you know? Vic's taking his paw away from you. But you won't mind. You'll be dead.
Curry, you stick here and take care of these two. Jed and I'll go on ahead.
Oh, son, I don't want to go nowhere.
Now, Paul, don't rile me. You're going with me.
None of you are going anyplace, Vic. Check.
What? Window. Reach high, both of you, and let go of that hardware.
Now, you better do as he says. Because Chester's a little nervous with that shotgun.
There's mine.
Looks like the odds are with you, so...
You might as well get rid of that spare in your boot, Vic, before you run into any temptations.
You got sharp eyes, Marshal. The law gets a lot of backing up tonight.
Your mistake, Vic. Sometimes people just don't give Chester enough credit.
Chow time.
beefsteak, fried potatoes, stewed corn. Marshal, I must say you run a nice jail, don't he, Curry? Don't mind Curry. He's a little depressed about last night. You still run a nice jail. Something on your mind, Marshal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a couple of things.
Such as?
Oh, such as your father spending money he hasn't earned, claiming to know where he can get more.
Pa's sure a terrible liar.
Mm-hmm. Such as him getting shot at twice and refusing to talk about it. Or help me investigate.
Pa's a little bashful, too.
Yeah. Such as his being afraid of you.
I guess Paul's getting old, little dottery.
Yeah. Then, of course, there's you.
Well, now you're on my favorite subject. Go on.
Well, you're a killer and a thief, but you're cool and smart. Smart enough to educate yourself.
I had lots of time to read in the pen. Lots of time.
You're going to have more, but not much more. But you're going to hang for those guards that you killed.
Maybe. Curry, ain't you going to eat that?
Mm-mm.
Now, go on about me being smart.
You're smart enough to know the most dangerous place for you to go after you escaped was here.
Well, it looks like I ain't as smart as you think.
It depends on what reason you had for risking coming here.
Boy, that's sure good coffee. First jail I was ever in where the coffee was fit to drink.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, Marshal. Now, just what was my reason?
Reason was money.
Money?
Cash. It's the only thing that'd give you a chance to get out of the country. You're in for robbery as well as murder. How much of the loot was recovered?
You know how it is, Marshal. Easy come, easy go. I spent it as fast, well, nearly as fast as I got it.
So nothing was recovered, huh?
No, it was all gone.
It was all hidden, you mean? Hidden until Jed found it.
Paul?
Sure. That's his source of money. It's also why he was afraid to go with you.
Like I said, too bad we're on opposite sides. You got brains and you use them.
You want to fill in the details for me?
I'll tell you this. You're right about my cash and money. I'd had it and be on my way to Mexico by now if Paul hadn't switched hiding places on me. You know, it hurts. Paul's turning against me.
Yeah. The Tolmans always stick together. Except when money's involved.
How about you, Marshal? Money by you, sky's the limit.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well, I figure not. Well, been a nice chat. Want to take this straight? Hurry, give me a hand.
All right, back up, Curry. That's it. And tell Vic when he wakes up to take it easy. Or he won't live to be hung. Hey, Jingle Bob. You seen Jed?
Sorry, Marshal. I don't know where Jed is. Been looking for him myself. Golly, I'm cold.
He must have left town last night.
Yeah. Ain't you cold?
I got an old jacket you can have.
I'd rather have a shot. Better still 2 shots.
You got the jumps?
Always got 'em, except when I'm full of booze. Funny, you won't believe it, but there was a time when I couldn't stand the taste of hard liquor. Made me sick. No, can't live without it.
Yes, you can.
Well, maybe, let's say I don't want to.
Let's say that... Here. Go buy yourself a drink.
Hey, that's enough for a whole bottle. Well, thanks. See you later, Marshal.
Supper time, Chester. Chester. Chester, you all right? The prisoners?
Gone.
Hannah Tolman slipped him a gun. And they made me open up the cell, and then Vic slugged me.
Well, I know where they'll go.
Please, Mr. Dillon, take me along. It was my fault they escaped.
All right, Chester. Ask Doc to put a quick patch on that head, and we'll go after him together.
Starting to get dark.
Yeah.
Why'd we leave the road back there?
I wanted to reach that rise, Chester.
But we circled around to come up the backside. Does that have something to do with you bringing binoculars?
Yeah, it does. Vic Tolman will know he'll be followed. I want to see what kind of a surprise he has for us. All right, pull up. You wait here.
See anything?
No. Not yet. Now, wait. I knew now. Yeah, it's Curry, all right. He's holed up in some brush just beyond the turn in the road down there.
Well, what do we do, Mr. Dillon?
Take the horses and circle back the way we came. Start up the road, but don't make the turn.
I understand.
Now be sure. As long as you don't make the turn, you'll be safe. But, I do want you to make some noise.
Noise?
Yeah, I want you to sing, whistle, throw rocks, anything. Just so long as it holds Curry's attention. It was slow work, crawling down through the brush, but finally I was only 10 feet behind Curry's position. The gunman was holding a rifle trained on the turn. And out of sight, coming up the road, I could hear Chester. Well, he wasn't good, but he was loud.
Come on around that turn, blast you.
All right, don't turn around, Curry. What? Now, you may have a point, but I like Chester, bad singing and all. Now lay the rifle aside and unbuckle your gun belt. Now, careful.
Yeah, sure. Only don't shoot.
Okay. Chester! Chester!
I didn't mean no harm. I was only going to scare him.
Yeah. Now, where's Vic?
At the Tolman house. Waiting for Jed to show up.
Uh-huh. All right, put your hands behind your back. I'm going to tie you up and leave you here.
What? Leave me here?
Yeah, we'll pick you up on the way back to town. It was dark when Chester and I were moving through the trees up to the Tolman shack. There was a light in the front, and through a window we could see the figure of Hannah Tolman moving around.
Just a girl.
Yeah, Vic's there. He just stand out of sight so Jed won't be scared off. Uh-oh.
She's coming out. Heading this way.
Yeah, there must be a well out here. She's carrying a bucket. Yeah, behind that tree, quick, and I'll take this one.
What do you think you're...
All right, now quiet down. We're not going to hurt you. Stop fighting. Chester, grab her legs quick.
Yes, sir.
I was saving these handcuffs for Vic, but I guess they'll do for you. There. Now, do you promise to be quiet, or do we gag you? All right, have it your way. Chester, give me your bandana.
Yes, sir. Here.
There, that should do it. All right, stay with her, Chester. I'm going for Vic. I was halfway to the shack when inside Vic Tolman became suspicious. Suddenly the lights went out, and the door opened, and a shadowy figure slipped out to stand, listening.
Hannah? Hannah, answer me.
Drop him, Vic.
Who is that? I can't see.
Matt Dillon. Throw down those guns. You're under arrest.
Not this time.
Vic.
You were right, Marshal. I ain't gonna live to hang.
Vic.
Mr. Dillon, over here.
Hey, what is it, Chester? Who's that, Jed?
Yes, sir. I caught him sneaking towards the house. He was carrying this bag.
Here, let me see. That's the money.
I was taking it to Vic. Is he...
Yeah. You're too late, Jed.
Oh, no. I ought to give him his money. If only he hadn't taken them shots at me.
He didn't. Until he found out where the money was hidden, he was the last person in the world to want you dead.
But, I don't understand. He must have...
No. Only the person who knew where you had the money would have shot at you.
Nobody knew that. How could they? Who
You
could...
talk a lot when you get drunk, Jed. You only get drunk with one person.
Huh? You mean Jingle Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember. I was bragging. Told him all about finding it and switching hiding places. Why, that low-down snake. And him pretending to be my friend.
Come on, Jed. I'll help you bury Vic. And we'll get back to Dodge.
We Tolmans sure have had a bad week.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Herb Purdom, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in tonight's cast were Virginia Gregg, Joseph Kearns, and Junius Matthews, with Harry Bartell, Lou Krugman, and Peter Leeds. Parley Bear is Chester. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
There. Rope's ready. One of you men lead that horse over here. All right. Let me get this noose around your dirty neck, and you'll be swinging in no time. There. Not too tight, is it? I wouldn't want you to be uncomfortable.
That's enough of that, Cam.
What? Who said that?
I did.
I said it. Bryce Stewart. What's the matter, you turning yellow?
Get this over with, Cam. Why devil him? Because that's what he is, that's why.
Shut up. I'll take care of you in a minute. Rice, you got anything against my hanging this murderer?
Just don't double him, that's all. Get it over with.
I'll do it my way.
It's my brother he shot, isn't it? And in the back, too.
Rice, maybe you'd like me to turn this bushwhacker loose. Is that it?
Oh. Well, ask him his name. Nobody's even asked him his name.
You'll hate this night. All of you. I was in on a lynching once, and I swore I'd never be in on another.
Well, I guess the joke's on you, isn't it, fella?
Look, I hear you laugh again, Cam, so help me, I'll shoot you.
Maybe you shouldn't be here, Rice.
How can you hang a man you don't even know his name? What do I care what his name is?
So long as he pays for murdering Job.
What's your name, fella?
What do you care? You don't want to stop him. You just want it off your conscience, that's all.
Tell me your name.
It's Billy Saxton, that's my name, Billy Saxton. How'd that sound?
Billy, why'd you kill Job Powell?
That's enough talk. What difference it make? He killed him, and that's all I need to know.
Yeah, what do you care? He's gonna hang me anyway.
Sure I am. Right now.
Billy, I got a rifle. I'll end it for you when we ride off. You won't have to strangle for long.
Thanks, mister. Thanks.
Get back, Rice. I'm going to slap that horse out from under him. You ready?
That for you!
Let's go, men.
But has concealed the hour of their death, grant that we may pass our days in the practice of holiness and justice, and that we may be able to quit this world in the peace of a good conscience. Amen.
Amen.
May Job Powell rest in peace. Amen.
Amen. Go ahead, boys. Thank you.
Good morning, Cam. I'm sorry to hear about Job.
You're late for the burial, Marshal.
Well, I was out at Fort Dodge last night. Just heard about it this morning. Preacher?
We are in the valley of the shadow of death, Marshal Dillon.
Well, if you're all through here now, I wonder if you'd read a few prayers over another man. We got him in a grave just over the hill way.
Another man?
Man is born into trouble as the sparks fly upward. Job 5:7. Who was this man, Marshal? How'd he die?
He was murdered last night.
I didn't hear about any murder outside of Job here. Where was this shooting, Marshal?
It wasn't a shooting. It was a lynching.
I just buried my brother, Marshal. Billy Saxton shot him in the back. Aren't you using the word murder a little loose around here?
Only the law can hang a man without it being murder, Cam.
The law's too slow sometimes.
You know something about this?
All I say is that he shot my brother and he deserved hanging.
Hanging, maybe. Lynching's a different matter.
What difference it make? He got what was coming to him.
He had a fair trial coming to him, like any man. For example, Cam, I'll try to see that you get one.
What?
If you're guilty of leading that lynch party.
Well, say it out, Marshal. You accusing me?
I got no evidence.
And you won't get any. There isn't a man in the country who'll stand still for bushwhacking. Saxton got his due, and that's that.
Maybe. All right, come on, preacher. Let's bury him.
Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. Genesis 9:6. Show me the grave, Marshal.
Why don't you just arrest Cam Powell, Mr. Dillon?
Yeah, he won't admit anything, Chester, and I can't find a witness.
Must be somebody who'll talk.
Cam's a bigger man than ever now, with Job dead. The others don't want to cross him.
He owns a lot of land, all right.
And Job also owned a piece of the bank. Cam will get that now. Ranchers always need money, so they won't talk.
Yes, and maybe they're ashamed, too, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, maybe.
I saw lynching once, and not a man there could look in the eye for a long time afterwards.
You weren't in on it, were you, Chester?
Oh, my gracious, no, Mr. Dillon. I was just a small boy. That was back in Waco. They hung a cousin of mine there.
Oh, why?
Well, sir, it's kind of hard to explain. He was about as honest a fellow as I ever knew, outside of some loose notions about other people's cattle. But, Mr. Dillon, I just don't believe that struck him as stealing.
Why not?
Well, because there wasn't anything personal about it, if you know what I mean.
Well, I don't, but maybe you can explain it to me.
Well, sir, it's just that there was all those cattle running loose on the plains, and I guess they seemed like a natural part of the landscape to him. He figured anybody could own them.
Your cousin wasn't very bright, was he, Chester?
I didn't know him well enough to say, Mr. Dillon. But anyway, they shouldn't have lynched him.
No. No, they shouldn't have. And nobody's going to get by with lynching around Dodge if I have anything to do with it.
No, sir.
I heard Billy Saxton was at the Texas Trail last night. Maybe I can start there.
He sure must have hated Job to kill him like that, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah. I'll be back later, Chester.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
Hello, Kitty.
Hello.
Well, I can remember when you'd give me a smile. What's the matter?
Nothing, Matt.
Someone been bothering you?
You might put it that way. Where were you last night, Matt? Why weren't you around?
Yeah, Chester and I rode out to Fort Dodge on business. It was late, so we slept there. I thought this town could go one night without trouble.
You sure thought wrong, didn't you?
You're upset about the lynchings, I did.
That's it. Aren't you?
I heard Billy Saxton spent some time in here yesterday.
I hate men. I think they're awful. Savage beasts.
It'd be worse if it weren't for the law, Kitty. Now tell me about Saxton.
He could tell you himself, Matt, if you hadn't picked last night to wander out of town.
Now, Kitty, this isn't like you.
I'm sorry, Matt. He seemed like such a nice kid.
Where was he from? I never heard of him around here before.
The Dakotas, somewhere. He was just a cow puncher, looking for a job. No more a gunman than I am.
No, you can't be sure, Kitty. He say he'd ever been in Texas?
The Powells came from Texas, didn't they?
Amarillo.
Well, he never mentioned Texas one way or the other.
What'd he talk about?
Horses, mostly. How he'd like to have a little spread of his own someday. And a woman.
I see.
And he talked nice about it. He wasn't like these hard cases around here.
Anything else?
Cam Powell was in this morning. Told me not to talk about Billy, especially to you.
No? What'd you say?
I told him I'm not afraid of him, but maybe you are, so why didn't he warn you against talking to me?
That pleasing?
I also told him if I was a man, I'd kill him.
Who else was in on it, Kitty?
I don't know. One thing, though. Rice Stewart came in here last night. Must have been afterwards. He sat over there in that corner and got drunk all by himself. Real drunk.
It's not like Rice.
No, but maybe he was in on it and couldn't stand himself afterwards. Maybe that's why he had to get drunk.
Well, I'll go see him.
Anyone who was there would be in trouble, too. Wouldn't they, Matt?
Yeah. But I have a feeling Cam really headed this thing, and if I can prove it, I'll have him up for murder.
I'll keep my ears open, Matt.
Thank you, kid. I think I'll ride out to the Stewart Ranch. Rice isn't a man who can lie with much conviction.
Good luck, Matt.
Yeah, I'll see you later.
We'll return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, do you know how old the school building in your community is? If it's over 25 years old, the chances are that it's woefully inadequate to the present demands on it. Join with the groups in your community working for better school conditions. Remember, better schools build a stronger America. Now the second act of Gunsmoke.
Hello? Anybody around?
Get down, Marshal. I'm coming out of the sun.
Well, thank you, Miss Stewart.
Got a pot of coffee on the stove, Marshal.
Oh, thank you, ma'am, but I'd like to find Rice first.
Anything wrong, Marshal?
No, I'd just like to talk to him.
Rice come home real late last night. He was awful drunk. First time in years.
If you'll forgive me, Miss Stewart, I'd better find him.
All right. Guess I'd rather Rice told me about it himself. Must be something up. Cam Powell was by earlier. Hasn't been around in months.
Where'd you say Rice was, ma'am?
Hasn't strayed far from the house today. Keeps coming in for coffee. Think he's drunk a gallon already.
Well, I'll be back for some myself in a little while.
Sure, Marshal.
Rice? Rice, you in here?
I'm here. Who is it?
Matt Dillon.
Oh?
Hello,
Marshal.
Hello, Rice. Can I take a little of your time?
I'd ask you up to the house, Marshal, but I think I'd rather talk here.
Miss Stewart already asked me in. She hasn't heard about what happened in Dodge last night, has she, Rice?
No, Marshal, she hasn't.
How come you didn't mention it to her?
What I tell my wife is my business, Marshal.
Yeah, sure. But you know, she's bound to hear about it later. Maybe she'll wonder why you didn't tell her right off.
That's still my business?
She said Cam Powell was here this morning.
Anything wrong in that?
You don't feel very good today, do you, Rice?
I got drunk yesterday. Last night I got drunker.
Is that what's bothering you?
Well, I'm not as young as I used to be, that's all.
You're a poor liar, Rice. I figured you would be.
Yeah, I suppose I am.
Look, Rice, I've known you for 4 years, and I've never heard a bad word against you. But yesterday you were a little drunk and got mixed up in something you're ashamed of now. Cam Powell's threatened you if you talk about it. Isn't that right?
That's right, Marshal.
Well, have you decided what you're going to do about it?
I don't know, Marshal. I just don't know.
Well, then maybe I'm wrong about you. Maybe you know better than Cam and the rest of them.
It's done with now, Marshal. Why can't we just forget about it?
We just can't forget a lynching, Rice. That'd make it too easy for the next one to happen.
I'll kill the man that starts another one.
And why are you going to let Cam get by with this one?
Well, by heaven, I'm not. I should have stopped it then. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I'll face up to it now. What do you want to know, Marshal?
Where were you when Job got shot?
At the Longhorn. About 6 of us were having supper. Job went down the street for some cigars, and then we Heard a shot out back, and we run through the kitchen and found the cook outside holding Billy Saxton.
Mm-hmm.
He'd shot Job when he passed the street end of the alley.
The cook see it?
Oh, she said he did.
Then what happened?
And Cam, he went crazy when he found Job was dead. I don't know, Marshal, but before I knew it, we'd slipped out of town with that boy. Cam hung him on that little tree about a half mile down the road.
Yeah, I know. I cut him down.
And that cook, that Hank something or other, I remember he grabbed Saxon's gun when we run out back. I can't get it off my mind. Nobody ever even looked at the boy's gun to see if it had been fired. Cam just hung him on the cook's word for it.
Mm-hmm. All right, Rice. Thank you. Will you be a witness if I need you?
I'll see you through now, Marshal. All the way. Oh. I feel better already.
All right. Let's go get some of your wife's coffee, Rice.
Yeah.
Then I got to get back to Dodge.
It's good coffee, Marshal.
Chester? Chester? Chester, where are you?
I'm out back, Mr. Dillon. I'll be right in.
What's that you've got all over you?
Paint, Mr. Dillon. White paint.
Paint? Well, where'd you get it? Now, what are you up to now, Chester?
I sent St. Louis for it, sir. I thought it'd be a good idea to make the hitching rail out back all white.
Well, what for?
Well, sir, we might be in an awful big hurry some night, and that...
all right, Chester. All right. Look, I want you to go get cleaned up. I want you to have supper at the Longhorn tonight.
Well, I sure do thank you, Mr. Dillon.
No, Chester. I want you to go there alone.
Oh. Yes, sir?
It's for a reason. Do you know the cook over there, Hank something or other?
That's Hank Ashford. He's not a very good cook, Mr. Dillon.
How long's he been around?
Oh, about a week. I don't think he likes cooking much. He don't seem to be very willing either.
Well, it doesn't matter. I doubt if he'll be around for long.
Why not, sir?
I'm guessing that he'll be wanting to get out of Dodge fast after you let it drop real casual-like, mind, that I've ridden out to arrest Cam Powell.
Is that so? You going to bring Cam in tonight, Mr. Dillon?
No. You're just going to make Hank Ashford think I am. And don't let anyone else hear about it, though.
Oh. I've got it, sir.
You happen to know where Hank rooms?
The Dodge house, Mr. Dillon.
It's pretty fancy for a cook, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, you go to supper about 6 o'clock. And I'm gambling that Hank Ashford will be packing his things at the Dodge house by 7.
All right, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, evening, Marshal.
Evening, John.
Hope you're not looking for a room. We're all filled up. Texans, mostly.
Well, that's fine. What room's Hank Ashford got?
310, Marshal. Top of the stairs, straight down the hall.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you been up to anything? Looked to be in a mite of a hurry when he come in.
He's here now?
Went upstairs just a couple of minutes ago. Something up, Marshal?
What do you want?
Leave that gun lay where it is, mister. Here, I'll just put it in my belt. Less likely to get you in trouble that way.
You're the marshal, ain't you?
You leaving town, Hank?
Yeah, I am.
Why?
I'm tired of cooking, that's why.
You got Billy Saxton's gun up here, Hank?
What?
Or shall I tear your stuff apart and find it myself?
No, it's in that drawer there.
Yeah.
But I wasn't at that lynching, Marshal. I can prove I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure you weren't. Yeah, all the shelves are here. nose clean. I thought this gun killed Job Powell.
It did. I cleaned it, that's all.
Hey, you're pretty neat, Hank, for a hash house cook. Yeah, catch this.
Now what?
And you handle that gun pretty well, too, for a cook. Look at the way you're holding it now.
I don't want that gun. What are you trying to prove, Marshal?
You're a gunfighter, not a cook, Hank.
All right, Marshal, I used to handle a gun, but I'm looking for the peaceful life now. Any law against a man changing?
No, but you're under arrest anyway.
What for?
I'll think of something. Let's go.
Hank wouldn't eat any breakfast, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, that's too bad.
He says he won't be here long anyway. They all say that, don't they?
Yeah, he may be right. I see Cam Powell coming across the street for him right now.
You going to let him go, Mr. Dillon?
Well, we'll see.
All right, Marshal. What's the bail on Hank Ashford?
There's no bail at all, Cam.
What do you mean, no bail? You can't hold a man like this.
I'm not holding him.
You mean he can leave?
Anytime.
Then what'd you arrest him for in the first place?
Oh, let's say, suspicion.
Suspicion of what?
Well, drunkenness?
He wasn't drunk.
No, but he might have got drunk.
You're pretty high-handed with that badge, aren't you, Dillon?
You tell me, Cam. You ought to know about being high-handed.
We're wasting time. Turn him loose. I want to get out of here.
I'll get him, Mr. Dillon.
Hank's a right handy man to have around, huh, Cam?
What does that mean?
Well, he can cook. Probably turn his hand to most anything. Sort of a jack of all trades, isn't he?
I wouldn't know, Marshal.
Well, thanks for bailing me out, Cam.
I didn't have to bail you out. You're free.
Is that right, Marshal?
That's right, Hank. So go on, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I sure will. And I'll start by having a drink. Come on, Cam, let's see if the Alfragan's open.
Mr. Dillon?
Yeah.
You think Hank shot Job Powell, don't you?
Well, that'd be my guess, Chester.
Then why'd you let him go?
No evidence. They'd lynch the only witness. But I've made him a little nervous now. He'll get real jumpy with the help of some liquor.
Well, what good'll that do, sir?
They just might hang themselves, Chester. Yes, sir. With a prod or two from me.
Well, come on, let's yeah.
Are you still here, gentlemen? May I buy you a drink?
What are you doing here, Marshal?
Why do you want to buy us a drink?
Bartender.
Give me that bottle there, will you?
Cam, I don't like this. Let's get out of here.
Wait a minute, Hank. I'm too big a man in Dodge to get pushed around by any marshal.
I just want you to have one drink before you leave, gentlemen.
Yeah. Just one.
It's for you, Cam. And for you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, here's to may he rest in peace, Billy Saxton.
You looking for trouble, Marshal?
You're the one who's got trouble, Hank.
What do you mean? You turned me loose yourself.
Yeah, I know. But what about Cam here?
What?
You think Cam's going to let you go after everything you've told me?
What'd you tell him, Hank?
Nothing. He's lying. I told him nothing.
And what are you talking about, Marshal?
Just that I've got about all the evidence I need, Cam. Won't you ask Hank? He can tell you. Go on.
Hank, if you cross me, I'll see you die for it.
You believe him, do you? Well, go ahead. You didn't have the guts to shoot your brother yourself.
Shut up.
Who are you going to hire to shoot
Shut
me?
up, blast you.
Shut me up. Shut
You're
me
drunk,
up.
man. Use your head. You got us in enough trouble already.
I have. If you'd let me shoot that boy when he stumbled on me, would have been
it.
all right.
Stop it.
You
Stop
may
it.
be rich, Cam, but you sure ain't smart.
I'm going to kill you, Hank.
Well, draw on me and I'll have 2 pals tomorrow.
All right, hold it, both of you. We've heard enough.
Well, there you are, Hank. Marshall's heard all he needs. You're done for now.
Yeah? Well, I shot a marshal in Trinidad once. Don't see why I can't shoot one in Dodge.
Don't try it, Hank.
Why not, Marshal?
Good riddance.
You're under arrest, Cam.
Hank shot Job Marshall. You heard him say so.
I heard him, but I'm still interested in who murdered Billy Saxton.
And you're right back where you started, Marshal. Seems nobody knows about that lynching.
I know about it.
Right, Stewart.
I'm not proud of it, but I was there. I witnessed the whole thing.
I'll take your gun now, Cam.
I guess you win, Marshal.
Nobody wins this time, Cam. Now, maybe the next time anybody gets an idea about lynching a man around here, they'll think twice. Now, you lead the way.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was especially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in tonight's cast were Paul Dubov, John Daner, and Tom Tully, with Joan Danton, Ralph Moody, and Lee Millar. Parley Bear is Chester, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. This is the CBS Radio Network.